It's time for Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
It's do or die for the Brewster Whitecaps here in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series between the Brewster Whitecaps and the Orleans Firebirds. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stony Brook Field. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Woodeel here in Brewster. And we'll be joined by the third member of our crew, Maura Sheridan, in just a few moments. But Carter, last night a tough one for these Whitecaps, falling 4-1 to Orleans in Game 1. They've been in this spot before, though. How did they get it done here facing elimination?
Yeah, I don't think you can find a tougher loss than what they got in Game 1, the previous series against the Whitey Red Sox, losing on a walk-off 3-run homer. But it was a tough defeat to the Firebirds last night. Really couldn't get anything going on offense aside from a great day from Hunter Bishop. So Brewster will be looking to kind of get the offense jump-started again. I think that's where this begins for the Whitecaps.
The offense only managing one run yesterday, that coming on a Hunter Bishop home run to left field like you talked about, Carter. Now on the opposite field off the left-hander's bat. And this lineup with a new look today. A little bit of some changes from Jamie Shevchik. Up and down the lineup, a few swaps. Hunter Bishop after that 2-for-2 day also reached on a walk, moved up in the 4th spot. But let's get to the whole lineup, and who better to introduce the Brewster Whitecaps than the Whitecaps themselves.
Nick Dunn, infield, University of Maryland.
Mickey Gasper, catcher, Bryant University.
Hey, I'm Marty Costas, outfielder, University of Maryland.
Hunter Bishop, outfielder, Arizona State.
Kyle Datris, infield, University of North Carolina.
Chandler Taylor, University of Alabama, outfielder.
Darius Hill, outfielder, West Virginia University.
Julian Infante, infield, Vanderbilt.
AJ Graffinino, shortstop for the University of Washington.
And on the mound for the Whitecaps is Bradley Spooner, the right-hander out of Saddleback Community College. But this lineup, a new look, and for more on that, we go to the third member of our crew, Maura Sheridan.
Well, guys, to start out the Brewster Whitecaps lineup, it's going to be Nick Dunn, Mickey Gasper, and then Marty Costas. And the reason for that is because Nick Dunn and Mickey Gasper have been so reliable on getting on in these playoffs and really throughout the whole year. And Marty Costas has been so reliable at driving guys home, but Coach Jamie Shevchik told me today that he hasn't really gotten that chance as much in the playoffs, so he wants to make sure that Marty Costas is in RBI situations every time he gets up to bat. So that's the reason for those changes today. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maura. And Mickey Gasper, typically a guy who we've seen in the 3 spot this year for Brewster, Carter, but I know you're a fan of moving him up into the number 2 spot.
I am, and it's a situation where it might be able to give Mickey Gasper an extra at-bat. I mean, this is a do-or-die game. It could come down to the wire, and you never want Mickey Gasper, a guy with his caliber in terms of hitting and one of the best hitters on this team, to be left in the on-deck circle. You move him up that extra place. As Maura was saying, you've got plenty of guys who can drive in runs behind him. So I like the decision to kind of make sure he gets up a little bit more.
Yeah, then Costas and Bishop in the 3 and 4 spots, 2 guys who can really do some damage with just one swing of the bat. And Bradley Spooner on the mound for Brewster in this do-or-die game number 2. Right-handed pitcher out of Saddleback. What are you looking for out of Spooner, Carter?
Spooner's got to be efficient. He's got to eat up some innings for Brewster. This is a tough spot for Jamie Shevchik. Obviously, starting pitching depth is not one of the strengths of this Whitecaps team, but Bradley Spooner's going to have to go out and just be competitive, make his pitches, and get outs quickly for this Firebirds team, because Orleans has made a habit throughout the regular season and the playoffs of jumping out to early leads and then using their excellent bullpen to protect that. So for Bradley Spooner, he's got to make sure to put up a few zeros at the start of this ball game.
Yeah, you mentioned the excellent bullpen, and it was on full display yesterday. Cody Deason and Josh Hyatt closing out the game, and even Brett Daniels picking up 8 strikeouts in 6 innings after getting the start for Kelly Nicholson's squad. But let's get to the lineup that Bradley Spooner will be facing. Leading off, the man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy Herron, the center fielder out of Duke University. Batting second out of Vanderbilt, it's Ethan Paul. He gets the start at second base today for Orleans. Batting third, Nico Decolati. He's in right field. Batting fourth, Steven Scott, another Vanderbilt Commodore. He's a designated hitter for the Firebirds. Jack Scroshans, the third baseman out of the University of Kansas, bats fifth. Brandon Riley, one of 4 Tar Heels on this Firebirds lineup, bats sixth. For Orleans, Lars Nootbaar, the first baseman out of USC, bats 7th and gets the start at first base. Austin Hale is behind the plate out of Stetson, and Jeff Hotby, the shortstop out of the University of San Diego, rounds out this Orleans lineup. I guess it all starts at the beginning. Seems like every time we face the Orleans Firebirds, we talk about Jimmy Herron, but for good reason.
Yeah, it is, and he's really been a force at the top of the lineup, and he showed it yesterday when we were in Eldridge Park in Orleans, reached base all 4 times that he came up to the plate, 3 singles and a walk, stole a base and scored a pair of runs. He just had his typical great game where he gets on base because, and Jamie Shevchik has said this time and time again, when Jimmy Herron gets to the base paths, he's so difficult to get off. He can get to second base with a stolen base. He had a ton of those in the regular season, 13 of them in his 2 for 2 in the playoffs, and he's a great base runner all around as well, besides just being a fast guy. He's really just pesky to deal with. So for Brewster, they got to try and neutralize him, got to try and get him in uncomfortable counts, which obviously is easier said than done.
Yeah, 13 stolen bases on the year for the Firebirds, 6 more than Ethan Paul, who was second on the team with 7. And you talk about it, Carter. He went 3 for 3 yesterday with 3 singles, but with that speed, it can always turn into a double. That's what Coach Shevchik always likes to say. But on the mound is a new face for or at least for these Brewster Whitecaps. They haven't seen Joey Murray, the right-hander out of Kent State University. He gets a start for Orleans in this game, too. What do you know about him?
Well, it tells you a lot about Orleans that they're turning to an all-star to come in and take this start for this next game of this series tonight. But he's a guy who doesn't have a ton of velocity, but is great at hitting his spots. Brewster's going to have to make sure they avoid the deception of this guy's changeup. Got a great fastball changeup combination we'll be seeing later on in the game.
Well, the national anthem just about ready to be sung here at Stony Brook Field, so we'll take a short break. But when we come back, it's game number 2 of the Eastern Division Conference Championship Series.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle.
Well, the national anthem has been sung, and the first pitch here at Stony Brook Field, or at least the ceremonial first pitch, has been tossed by Caitlin Callahan, MLB scout liaison and assistant to the Whitecaps GM. And now Bradley Spooner has taken the mound, throwing his warm-up pitches to Mickey Gasper, and we are just about ready to get underway here at Stony Brook Field. Carter, just an absolutely gorgeous day here on the Cape. literally not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah, it sure is. And we got the beautiful field designs as well. The infield looking like a baseball thanks to Ryan Smythe, the way that he's working the lawnmower. He's doing a terrific job with that. But for the Whitecaps, as much as a picture-perfect day this is, they don't want this to be the last time they look at Stony Brook Field. They want to make sure to get a win today, and it starts with Bradley Spooner on the mound.
Yeah, they've been in this situation before, like we talked about before the national anthem. In round number 1 against the YD Red Sox, they lost game 1 and came back here to Stony Brook Field facing elimination, and they were able to take game 2 behind a strong pitching, really, of Will Tribuker, the lefty out of Michigan. So I'm sure Coach Shevchik and his staff looking for the same thing today, hopefully from the right-hander Bradley Spooner. But he'll have his hands full, and that starts with the man at the top of this Firebirds order. It's Jimmy Herron. He's digging into the right-handed batter's box here at Stony Brook Field. And it looks like we are ready to get things underway. Wind blowing out lightly out towards right center, now shifting back towards left. So blowing out here of Stony Brook Field. And the first pitch from Spooner, fastball that misses downstairs for ball 1. Herron, like we talked about, coming off a 3-for-3 performance last night at Eldridge Park. Takes a cut at that fastball, fouls it back over the first base dugout and out of play. 1-1 the count. Herron, the center fielder out of Duke University for Orleans, was the All-Star Game MVP here on the Cape for the East as he fouls off another fastball. Now count moves to 1-2. Really just had an all-around outstanding regular season. .338 the average in 42 games. 26 runs scored. 4 home runs, 19 RBI, as he lines this one into center field. Moving back is Hunter Bishop, now has a beat on it and puts it away for out number 1. So something they weren't able to do yesterday, they've already accomplished for the first out of this game, Carter. They've retired Jimmy Herron.
Yes, they did. They got some hard contact, though, did Jimmy Herron. I'm sure that in terms of the way he made contact, he won't be too sad with that at-bat, but Hunter Bishop was there to make the play in center field. The defense is going to be important for Brewster. That was a place where they really struggled. 3 errors last night.
Now Ethan Paul digging in for the Firebirds. Looks at a first pitch off the plate for ball 1. And speaking of that defense, we'll take a look at Brewster's. In the outfield, moving from left to right, it's Costas, Bishop, and Taylor. In the infield from third to first, Datris, Graffinino, Dunn, and Infante. The next pitch from Spooner misses way outside. Now 2-0 on Paul. Mickey Gasper doing the catching behind home plate. Darius Hildas getting the start at designated hitter today for Brewster. And obviously Brad Spooner out on the mound. 2-0 that count on Ethan Paul as he rips this one into right. Hooking towards the line, and that one will just drop fair. And they're going to rule that one a home run. It looked from our vantage point like it hit the ground and bounced over, but home plate umpire John Lee saying no, that ball was out and bounced instead from our vantage point over the fence. So a home run for Ethan Paul, and 2 batters into this game, the Firebirds lead 1-0.
That was very similar to the home run we saw from Hunter Bishop last night, just kind of a mirror image, an opposite field shot. That time a righty bowed out to right field. Bishop, the lefty, sent it out to left field. I'm with you, Aiden, that it was a little curious, the meddlings over there, but we've seen a few disputes on calls like that so far. Jamie Shevchik will speak his mind on that sort of thing, and he's staying in the dugout.
That he is, and now the first pitch to Nico Decalotti, fouled off over the right side for strike 1. We did see the ball bounce, but from our vantage point, we can see a little bit behind the fence, which would still be where a home run right down the line would land. 0-1 the count on Decalotti, and Spooner through the windup. This one driven out to center field, moving back, and to his left is Hunter Bishop. Has a read on it, though, and makes the play just shy of the warning track for out number 2.
Couple nice jumps from Hunter Bishop early on in this game. We've seen 3 hard-hit baseballs by the top 3 hitters for Orleans in the lineup. 1 left the park, and 2 tracked down quickly by the Sun Devil in center.
And all of them in the air on a day when the wind is blowing out here at Stony Brook Field. And speaking of balls in the air, in steps Steven Scott into the left-handed batter's box. Won this year's Cape Cod Baseball League Home Run Derby at Spillane Field back on July 22nd, where he defeated Whitecaps right fielder Chandler Taylor in the final round. First pitch from Spooner misses downstairs for ball 1. Scott, the designated hitter out of Vanderbilt University, batted .300 in 37 regular season games this year, as the fastball from Spooner misses down and away. Now 2-0 on Scott. Scott, another powerful bat in this Orleans lineup. This fastball from Spooner catches the outer edge. Now it's 2-1 on the Commodore. Let's get you set on the numbers for Spooner in the regular season. Appeared in 4 games, 3 of them starts. Did not record a decision as he gets Scott swinging there on 1 down in the zone. Count now evens at 2-2. A 5.75 ERA in 15 2/3 innings. Struck out 9 batters and walked 6. 2-2 the count. 2 outs, top of the first inning. Orleans already on top 1-0 on an Ethan Paul home run as this one's lifted in the air into shallow left center field. Moving in is Hunter Bishop, and he's called off by Marty Costas, who puts it away for out number 3. So 3 fly ball outs for Bradley Spooner, but one of the fly balls off the bat of Ethan Paul left the ballpark. If after half an inning it's 1-0, Firebirds lead the Whitecaps here in game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle.
Back here in Brewster, where the Firebirds already hold a 1-0 lead over the Whitecaps, but the Whitecaps looking to bounce back here in the bottom of the first inning. Nick Dunn, Mickey Gasper, and Marty Costas due up for Brewster against Joey Murray, the right-hander out of Kent State. Made 8 appearances this year for Orleans. 7 of them starts, went 4-2 with a 4.31 ERA. His first pitch to Nick Dunn fouled off down the left field line out of play. Dunn, the second baseman for Brewster. Got off to a bit of a rough start in his second year with the Whitecaps, but finished the year on fire. Finished the year with a .333 batting average as the fastball from Murray misses down and in to even the count at 1-1. Murray looking into his catcher, Hale, and the fastball misses down and in. 2-1 now the count on Dunn. Let's get you set on the Orleans defense. In the outfield from left to right, it's Riley, Heron, and Decalotti. In the infield, Groshans, Hotby, Paul, and Newtbar. 2-1 pitch to Dunn, fouled off back and over the press box. Count evens at 2-2. It's Austin Hale doing the catching behind the plate. And if we haven't said it enough, Joey Murray on the mound. 2-2 pitch to Dunn. This one's chopped foul down the first base line. So in a classic Nick Dunn at bat, seen a lot of pitches fouling off.
That's what you want from your leadoff hitter, especially against a pitcher you haven't seen before.
2-2 pitch on its way. This one hit softly on the ground towards first. Fielded on a hop by Newtbar, and he'll take it himself to the bag for out number 1.
And that's the other thing that makes these two guys at the top of the order, Dunn and Gasper, so good, because as you were mentioning, Aiden, they see a ton of pitches every at-bat. And for an all-star pitcher that has not made an appearance against Brewster at all this season, in the regular season or the playoffs, it's important to kind of see what he's got, especially for a guy like Joey Murray, who's got a lot of different stuff to work with.
First pitch now to Mickey Gasper, a fastball that misses high for ball one. Gasper, like we talked about in the pregame, Carter, with Mora, typically the number 3 hitter for this Whitecap squad, moved up into the 2-hole today. As a fastball from Murray catches the inside corner, and the count evens at 1-1. Was this year's Whitecaps MVP. Also appeared in the Cape League All-Star game for Brewster. As he takes a fastball downstairs, count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Really just most consistent and productive offensive performer for this team all season long. .305, the batting average in 39 games. Hit 5 home runs and second in the Cape League with 30 RBI. As fastball from Murray misses high and outside, now 3-1 the count. Murray through the windup and the 3-1 pitch. This one fouled off over to third base dugout, so a full count on Gasper. You talked about it, Carter. Seeing a lot of pitches.
And a lot of them fastballs early on from Joey Murray. He doesn't have a ton of velocity on that. Right now it's sitting in the high 80s. Does have a changeup that he can pull the string with.
And the payoff pitch. This one in at the knees. Strike 3. Gasper down looking. He was not a fan of that call from John Leeds. Already taken off the elbow guard, tossed the bat towards the Whitecaps dugout, and as he walks back towards the dugout, in a very uncharacteristic Mickey Gasper move, has some words for the home plate umpire. But either way, 2-way here in the bottom of the first inning, and Marty Costas taking in for the Whitecaps. Murray through the windup and the first pitch to Costas. Check swing, fouled off in the air over the first base dugout. So Costas moved his hands about 3 inches there and already has strike 1 on him on the check swing foul ball. Righty-righty matchup as Murray's through the windup. And an 0-1 fastball misses high. Evens the count at 1-1. Murray looking into the catcher, Hale. Now gets what he wants, and the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses downstairs, and Costas ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Murray ready, and the 2-1 pitch. Fastball chased high. Count evens at 2-2 as Costas unable to catch up to the heater from Murray. Marty getting the start in left field today for Brewster. Really has found his niche there. Also in the middle of this Whitecaps lineup, batting primarily in the number 4 or 5 spot for the majority of the season. As the 2-2 pitch, breaking ball misses down and away, and count runs full on Costas, so the Whitecaps really making Murray work here in the first inning. But so far, nothing to show for it. "17 pitches for Murray already here in the first inning. 9 strikes, 8 balls. And here comes the payoff pitch to Costas. Fastball hit on the ground right back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. So Marty Costas takes a 3-2 fastball from Murray, shoots it right back where it came from. And the Whitecaps have a base runner with 2-way here in the bottom of the first.
That's a great job by Marty working through that at-bat, as you were talking about it. And so a lot of different pitches, had a good take on a breaking ball, then went and swung up on the high fastball, and then was able to connect on the 3-2 pitch. And you're absolutely right with making him work. I mean, 17 pitches, now 18, and he is only 3 batters in. Hunter Bishop hasn't seen a pitch yet. So for Brewster, I know that Orleans is known for its deep bullpen, but 2 of their best relievers were used in Game 1.
First pitch now to Hunter Bishop. Takes a home run swing at it, but swings through a fastball upstairs for strike 1. Bishop coming off a 2-for-2 performance yesterday at Eldridge Park, including a home run to left field, the only run of the ball game for Brewster, as he hits this one hard on the ground down the first base line, but foul. Count now 0-2 on the Arizona State center fielder. Hunter in the 4 spot today after reaching base all 3 times he came to the plate yesterday in Orleans. Struggled a bit in the regular season, though, as a pitch out from Murray. So 1-2 now the count on Bishop. Costas wasn't going anywhere, though.
That's not the first time we've seen a pitch out with Marty Costas on the base paths.
Marty was second on the team. As Bishop chops this one towards third, fielded on a hop by Groshans, throwing to first in plenty of time for out number 3. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on for the Whitecaps in the bottom of the first. We've played an inning here at Stony Brook Field, and the Firebirds lead the Whitecaps 1-0. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. After an inning, it's 1-0 Firebirds here at Stony Brook Field. Bradley Spooner back out on the mound for the Whitecaps, and the first pitch to the number 5 hitter Jax Groshans, a fastball that misses downstairs for ball 1. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Woodeel here on the Whitecaps Radio Network. It's do or die for Brewster in this game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. Groshans fouls off a 1-0 fastball over the first base dugout to even the count at 1-1. Groshans, the third baseman out of the University of Kansas, batted .291 in 38 games in the regular season for Orleans, and looks at a breaking ball that misses down and away for ball 2. Righty-righty matchup as Spooner works through the windup and the 2-1 pitch. Fastball right on the outside corner, evens the count at 2-2. Spooner ready. Through the windup and the 2-2 pitch. Fastball lined into center field. Hunter Bishop played perfectly, though. It's right at him. And he puts it away for out number 1.
You said it, Aiden. Really, right in the right spot was Hunter Bishop, just shading toward right center. Another hard piece of contact off the bat of an Orleans Firebird.
And now digging in for the Firebirds is one of the 4 Tar Heels on this Orleans roster, Brandon Riley. Gets the start in left field tonight for Orleans. And the first pitch from Spooner, cut on and missed. Looks like he took a little off that one, and Riley out in front of it for strike 1. Spooner working quickly. Goes back to a fastball. This one skips home. And count now 1-1 on Riley. 39 games this year in the regular season. Riley batted just .254. Did not hit a home run, but did have 2 triples. As he lines this one right back up the middle past Spooner and into center field. That's a hard hit single for Brandon Riley. And you want to talk about shooting it right back where it came from, Carter. That one nearly took Spooner's hand off.
Yeah, had to dodge it. This is reminding me a lot of Jonathan Seaver's start last night, where Orleans was able to jump out to 3 runs in the first 2 innings, and they did it by just flat out hitting the baseball hard. Seaver's another guy like Spooner who relies on deception and changing speeds to fool hitters, and right now for Spooner, his changeup isn't working quite as well.
First pitch now to Lars Nootbaar, cut on and miss for strike 1 on that changeup. Nootbaar, the first baseman out of USC, one of the Trojans, came all the way across the country to play here on the Cape. That's here with 1 out and a man on as Spooner throws over to first to check on Riley, but the Tar Heel dives back safely. Nootbaar with .252 average in 35 regular season games. Another one who did not homer. As a thrower to first again, close play, but Riley able to dive back in time, says first base umpire Billy McCollum. It's Billy McCollum at first. John leads behind the plate. Mark Ottavianelli at third, and Tom Ryberg as his second base umpire today. Another check on Riley at first base, but once again, the Orleans left fielder back in time. Spooner out of the stretch, comes set, and the pitch to Nootbaar. Fastball just misses off the outside quarter. Count levels at 1-1 to the Orleans first baseman. Spooner out of Saddleback Community College. Made his first appearance for the Whitecaps at White House Field. Runner goes, and breaking ball misses down and in. The throw down to second in time. Great throw from Mickey Gasper to get Brandon Riley trying to steal second, and there's 2 away here in the top of the second.
That's one of the better throws we've seen from Gasper all season, I think, Aiden. Got a great jump, did Brandon Riley, despite being held on with those checks over at first, but nailed him with plenty of time. Excellent play.
So now a 2-1 count, 2 outs on Nootbaar. And a fastball from Spooner misses down and away. 3-1 now the count. Base is now empty for Orleans after Gasper is able to throw out Riley. 3-1 pitch. This one chopped foul towards the Orleans on deck circle, and the count now full. Nootbaar, one of 5 left-handed hitters for the Firebirds in today's lineup. Looks at a fastball here from Spooner that just misses below the knees, and Nootbaar heads on down to first base with a 2-out walk. For the most part, Kelly Nicholson doing a good job alternating lefties and righties in this lineup. The only 2 back-to-back of the same handedness are Riley and Nootbaar in the 6 and 7 spots, who are both lefties. Now digging in Austin Hale, right-handed hitting catcher, who looks at a first pitch fastball from Spooner, then misses down and away for ball 1. Righty-righty matchup as Nootbaar leads off of first. And the pitch from Spooner took a little off that one and painted the outside corner. Count evens at 1-1. Nootbaar leading off first. Spooner set. Goes to the breaking ball here on 1-1. Misses down and away. No appeal down to first. So the count now 2-1 on Hale. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Orleans leads. As Spooner goes back to the breaking ball, but this one misses high above the letters, and it's now 3-1 on the number 8 hitter. Spooner set. And the 3-1 pitch. Fastball gets away from Gasper. It'll be ball 4. Nootbaar with a big turnaround second base as Gasper is able to run back to the backstop and retrieve it. So back-to-back walks for Spooner here in the second. And the Firebirds have 2 runners on for the number 9 hitter, Jeff Hotby.
Boy, does that throw from Mickey Gasper loom large right now, because that caught stealing that he gets. If he doesn't get that, it's bases loaded, 1 man out. Now the Whitecaps have 2 gone, and Spooner can try and just get this 9 hitter to finish the inning.
And the first pitch to Hotby. Cut on and fouled back behind home plate. 0-1 now the count. Hotby, left-handed hitting shortstop out of the University of San Diego. Primarily known for his defense as he carried just a 173 average in 37 regular season games. The 0-1 pitch from Spooner. This one ripped down the right field line, but hooking foul as it'll roll into the Firebirds bullpen down the right field line. So Hotby now in an 0-2 hole with 2 away here in the second. It's Nootbaar leading off second, Hale off of first. Spooner set. And the 0-2 pitch. Fastball just got a piece of it, did Hotby, and the count stays 0-2. Now fouled straight back to the backstop as it's retrieved by one of the Brewster bat boys. So we'll do it again here at Stony Brook Field. Spooner looking into Gasper. Shakes off the first couple of signs, now gets what he wants. And the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground but fouled on the first base line. So back-to-back foul balls from Hopey, and the count remains 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and the pitch from Spooner. Fastball misses way upstairs, now 1-2 on Hopey. Good job by Gasper popping out of his crouch there to snag that one and hold Nootbaar at second. 1-2 now the count as Spooner checks the runner at second and the pitch. Fastball just misses off the plate, and the count now levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's important for Spooner to get this hitter here. Herron is looming on deck right now for Orleans. As tough as he is, Brewster would rather have him lead off an inning than come up with a couple of runners on.
2-2 the count. And the pitch from Spooner. This one skips home. Nice block by Mickey Gasper to keep that one in front of him, and it's now a full count on the number 9 hitter, Hopey. And you mentioned with Herron on deck, Carter, a walk here would load the bases for the Orleans center fielder. As Spooner comes set, and the payoff pitch. Fastball fouled back into the netting. Runners were going on the full count, 2 outs, so no surprise there, but we'll do it again here in Brewster. This is really someone that Spooner wants to get, like you were talking about. Just 173, like I mentioned, in the regular season. Number 9 hitter in the order. And I don't think anyone wants to face Jimmy Herron with the bases loaded. Payoff pitch from Spooner. Fastball lifted in the air down the left field line, slicing out of play on the run as Costas, but it will drop out of his reach, and we'll do it again, once again, here in Brewster. Hopey has fouled off 6 pitches in this at-bat. He's taken 3 balls and all of the strikes that he's seen as Spooner steps off the mound as Nootbaar retreats back to second base. So he's fouled off 2 strikes and then fouled off 3 more pitches from Spooner. As here comes the payoff pitch. This one chopped foul once again. Hopey continuing to battle, and you've got to love this at-bat if you're Kelly Nicholson.
Yeah, terrific job by your number 9 hitter. You talked about it, Aiden, how he's more in the lineup for his defense than anything else, but to keep a rally moving here, or at least just get to a pitcher that you know needs to go long for his team. It's terrific at-bat.
3-2 pitch. Another one fouled off in and out of the mitt of Mickey Gasper, was unable to hang on. That's now 8 foul balls in this at-bat for Jeff Hopey. It was 4 at the beginning, then 3 straight balls, and now 4 more. Spooner set, and the 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball from Jeff Hopey, make it 9 in this at-bat. Well, we saw Brewster make Joey Murray work in the bottom of the first inning, and now we're seeing Orleans make Brad Spooner work here in the top of the second.
This is number 13, right?
Spooner ready, and the payoff pitch. This one lined into center field, and it'll be Hopey who wins the battle. Rounding third is Nootbaar. Holding at second is Hale, and the Firebirds take a 2-0 lead here in the second on a Jeff Hopey RBI single to center.
That's one of the best at-bats you're going to see. A terrific job by Jeff Hopey to see 13 pitches from Bradley Spooner and then send that 13th pitch right back where it came from to center field. Another piece of hard contact. This Orleans offense has just continued to click, carrying over from where they were at the start of Game 1.
They say as the longer an at-bat goes on, the more likely it is that the hitter is going to win it, and there we saw a prime example of that as Austin Straub will now walk out to the mound to have a chat with his right-handed starter. Looks like there is some action in the Brewster bullpen as Carter checks on who that is. Looks like Joe Demers from my vantage point, right-hander out of the University of Washington. Still talking is Straub, and the entire infield has joined the Whitecaps pitching coach and Spooner out on the mound.
We've seen Joe Demers get up and sit down a lot during the playoffs. He's been kind of the guy that Jamie Shevchik has thought about turning to for much of this playoff season. Does have one appearance so far. But he is one of their best workhorses out of the pen, and this is a situation where if Bradley Spooner can't try and get some swings and misses here, he'd be the guy that Jamie Shevchik would want to call on.
Now it's Jimmy Herron digging in from the right side, 0 for 1 today with a fly at the center field. First pitch from Spooner, fastball that misses high and outside for ball 1. 2-0 the score. Firebirds lead the Whitecaps here in the top of the second inning. As Spooner set and the 1-0 pitch. This one lifted high in the air behind home plate. Giving it a look is Mickey Gasper, but it will fall out of play. And the count evens at 1-1. That one just missing the Whitecaps 50-50 table.
I think it went off the 10, Aiden. I think that took a hit off the 50-50 tent.
I know a couple of the board of directors, Claire Gradone, Pat Eggers, are having a nice little chat about it. Kind of still in shock that one came as close as it did. As the 1-1 pitch from Spooner. Fastball right on the outside corner. Now 1-2 on Herron. Great location there from the Brewster starter. 1-2 the count. 2 outs, top of the second inning. 2 runners on for Orleans, and the pitch to Herron. Breaking ball, this one chopped right back towards Spooner. Fields throw on to first to get the speedy Herron. Takes Infante off the bag. And so Herron will reach. The throw from Spooner was a little bit too far towards second base, and Infante, as a right-handed fielder, had to reach across his body, and it took his left foot off the bag. And they'll rule that one an E1 on Bradley Spooner. And now the bases are loaded for the man who homered in his first at-bat, Ethan Paul.
And it's another throwing error for Brewster. We saw 3 throwing errors on Brewster's defense last night in Game 1.
And the first pitch to Paul, fastball that skips home, gets away from Gasper for a second, but a good job by the Bryant Bulldog to recover it. 1-0 now the count on Paul. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Ethan Paul, the second baseman out of Vanderbilt, digging in from the left side. Spooner comes set, and the 1-0 pitch. Caught on and missed. Chased an off-speed pitch downstairs there to even the count at 1-1. Spooner looking into Gasper. Now gets what he wants and comes set. 1-1 pitch on its way. This one fouled off by Paul. Right off of the mid of Gasper, and the count out 1-2. So Spooner 1 strike away from getting out of this jam. But against a hitter like Paul, he'll have to execute a pretty good pitch to fool him. Paul with a home run to right field in his first at-bat that gave the Firebirds an early 1-0 lead just 2 batters into this ball game. That's the 1-2 pitch from Spooner on its way. Fastball on the outside corner. Paul down looking. Great location there by Spooner, and a great job by Gasper to hold the mid out. And John Leeds rings up Ethan Paul. So Spooner able to strand the bases loaded, but the Firebirds get another run. It comes on a Jeff Hotby RBI single to center. 1 run in the inning on 2 hits, 1 error, and they leave 3 on. We've played 1.5 here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster, and it's 2-0 Firebirds here in game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Back here in Brewster for the bottom of the second inning. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Whitecaps here against Joey Murray. 2-0 to score. Orleans on top of Brewster. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Wedeel. And the first pitch from Murray to Kyle Datris, a fastball on the outside corner for strike one. Whitecaps were able to get a hit in their first inning. Came off the bat of Marty Casas, but set down in order other than that as Datris rips one to short, and a great play by Jeff Hotby diving into the hole to his right. Robs Kyle Datris of a base hit. Well, he had an RBI single in his first at-bat, but the entire at-bat I was saying he was primarily known for his defense, and there he flashes the leather to rob Kyle Datris of a leadoff single.
Terrific reaction there from Hotby. Boy, is he having a game early on in this game, too.
Now Chandler Taylor digging in from the left side for Brewster. Batting in the number 6 spot today for the Whitecaps. As the first pitch from Murray. This one lifted in the air down the third base line, giving chase to Jax Groshans, but he'll run out of room, it appears, as this one drops out of play. Got now 0-1 on Taylor. Groshans running basically all the way into the stands here at Stony Brook Field. And from our vantage point, the Whitecaps dugout blocks the very first part of the out-of-play line. So we had to wait a second there to make sure Groshans didn't catch that. 0-1 pitch on its way. Caught on and missed from Taylor. Swung at an outside fastball there. Now the Brewster right fielder quickly behind 0-2. Taylor tied for the Cape League lead in home runs this season with 9. It looks at an 0-2 breaking ball from Murray that misses down and away. Now 1-2 on the University of Alabama product. Murray working quickly, 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses down and in, and Taylor works it back to an even 2-2 count. Wind blowing out here at Stony Brook Field right now to dead center field. As Taylor fouls back a fastball, stays alive, and the count remains 2-2. Seems like the perfect opportunity if he's able to get a piece of it for someone who has as much raw strength as Chandler Taylor. Even if he doesn't get it 100%, doesn't perfectly barrel it up, if he gets it up into that air, as he chops this one foul towards the Firebirds dugout, so Taylor continues to battle, and the count remains 2-2. If he gets the one up into that jet stream, Carter can certainly carry here in Brewster.
Really is kind of your picture-perfect day with the wind as well for Stony Brook Field.
2-2 pitch fouled off towards the third base side. And that's 3 consecutive fouls from Chandler Taylor.
We're so used to seeing the wind blowing out here, especially on nice days like this, so it's appropriate for the playoff game.
Murray threw the windup and the 2-2 pitch. Fastball just misses inside, and count runs full on Taylor. Taylor, or CT as he's known in the Whitecaps dugout, looks at a 3-2 fastball on the outside corner. He goes down looking. John Leeds rings him up. And Chandler Taylor not happy about that one. That's the second time a Whitecap hitter has not liked the call from John Leeds.
Yeah, that's the same corner as well. The 2 strikeouts that have been registered by Murray in this game to Gasper and Taylor were both on that outside corner to the lefty batter, and both times Taylor and Gasper not happy with the call.
First pitch now to Darius Hill on its way, and a fastball right on that outside corner for strike 1. It is, however, the same pitch that Spooner struck out Ethan Paul on to end the top of the second inning with the bases loaded. So Leeds has been giving it to both sides as Hill lines this one down the left field line, but it slices out of play. Count out 0-2. Hill, the starting designated hitter today for the Whitecaps, was used as a pinch hitter last night in Orleans. As the 0-2 pitch lined at the right center field. On the run is Jimmy Herron, and that one will drop into the gap. Rolling all the way to the wall and rounding first is Darius Hill. And the West Virginia Mountaineer is into second base with a stand-up double.
That's what the Whitecaps needed, kind of an injection here with 2 outs. We've seen how great Brewster has been toward the tail end of the regular season and into the playoff series versus YD at scoring runs with 2 out. And now a chance here for Infante to try and get a ribby.
You mentioned Infante, right-handed hitting first baseman digging in for the Whitecaps. And you got to love that if you're Jamie Shevchik from Darius Hill. Last night appeared as a pinch hitter in the top of the 7th inning against Cody Deason, and fouled off 8 straight pitches from the right-hander before in cut down swinging. Just Deason blew a fastball right past him, but still a great at-bat. Really worked the count as the first pitch from Murray, a fastball that misses high to Infante for ball 1. Even though he struck out, he'll return to the Whitecaps dugout last night, getting some great at-bats and a way to battle up there from his teammates and coaches. 1-0 the count on Infante as Murray comes set. And the pitch, cut on and missed. Infante shoots the fastball up in the zone. Their count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Infante still looking for his first hit of the postseason. Was held hitless in the first round against the Red Sox. There's a 1-1 pitch on its way. Another fastball, this one on the outside corner. Count moves to 1-2. Runner on second is Darius Hill for the Whitecaps. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the Firebirds lead this one 2-0 over the Whitecaps. Righty-righty matchup as Murray looks into the catcher Hale. Now comes set. Checks the runner at second. And the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit in the air, deep to left field. Going back is Brandon Riley. He's looking, he's turning, and that ball is gone. This game is tied. What a way for Julian Infante to get his first postseason hit. It's just his 2nd home run of the season. He had 1 in the regular season, and a big one here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. We have a whole new ball game here in game number 2 at Stony Brook Field as Julian Infante goes deep to left field for a 2-run shot.
Another clutch 2-out hit for the Brewster Whitecaps. A terrific job by Infante, and no doubter that one really got up there over the left field wall. And that's got to feel good, as you said, Aiden. Hadn't gotten into the hit column in the postseason, able to hit that one way out of here.
And you mentioned the 2-out hit. That just seems to be this team's MO so far this season. As the first pitch to A.J. Graffinino, a fastball grooved in there for strike 1. This team loves hitting with 2 outs and 2 strikes. 0-1 now the count on the shortstop. Check swing on a fastball high and inside. Just try to get out of the way of there, but bad luck for Graffinino as he fouls it off towards the Whitecaps on deck circle. Now 0-2 on the Brewster shortstop. Pitch now from Murray. Fastball high and chased by Graffinino. Tried to hold up his swing, but unable to, says John Leeds. And so he goes down swinging for out number 3. But the Whitecaps tie the game on a 2-run home run by Julian Infante. After 2 innings, it's 2-2 between the Whitecaps and Firebirds. You're listening to Playoff Brewster Whitecaps Baseball here on the Whitecaps Radio Network. New pitcher in the game for the Brewster Whitecaps as we move to the top of the third inning. It's Joe Demers, the right-hander out of the University of Washington. He takes over for Bradley Spooner, who's only able to go 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Demers takes over on the mound, and he'll face the heart of this Firebirds order, number 3, 4, and 5, as his first pitch to Nico Decolati, a fastball in for strike 1. Aiden Doyle and Carter Woodeel here on the Whitecaps Radio Network. It's a whole new ball game after Julian Infante launched a 2-run home run in the bottom of the second inning to tie this game at 2. As a 1 fastball from Demers fouled off by Decolati towards the Firebirds dugout. And the Orleans right fielder quickly behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Demers through the windup and the 0-2 pitch. Fastball fouled back into the netting. Decolati able to stay alive, and the count stays 0-2. Demers working quickly, and the 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses high. Decolati lays off that one. Now 1-2 on the right fielder out of Loyola Marymount. Decolati 0 for 1 on the day, flew out to center field in his first at-bat. And the 1-2 pitch from Demers, caught on and missed. Swung through a fastball up in the zone there. So Joe Demers comes in and strikes out the first batter he faces, 1 away here in the top of the third.
Great start for Joe Demers. Got a big swing and miss there, something that Bradley Spooner wasn't able to get too much of in his 2 innings on the mound. It's very similar to what we saw yesterday. We saw Jonathan Stever have the start through 2 innings, wasn't very effective, and then Shane McDonald came in and threw 6. Not saying Demers can go 6 great innings in this ball game, but a similar start.
First pitch now to Steven Scott, driven to center field, moving back is Hunter Bishop. He's on the run, and he makes the catch over his shoulder. They're showing off the speed as Scott launched that one to deep center field, but Hunter Bishop, with great wheels out in center for the Whitecaps, was able to run that one down.
Bishop's defense in the center has been so important in this ball game. That's the 4th baseball already that he has tracked down out there, and all of them were hit pretty hard. He's done a great job reading balls off the bat.
Now Jax Groshan's digging in from the right side for the Whitecaps. 2 away here, or for the Firebirds. First pitch swinging, chops one to Infante at first, fields it on a hop and takes it himself to the bag. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for Joe Demers in the top of the third. After 2.5 here on the Whitecaps Radio Network, we are tied at 2 between the Whitecaps and Firebirds in game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Woodeel and Aiden Doyle.
Moving to the bottom of the third inning here at Stony Brook Field, and it's back to the top of the order for the Brewster Whitecaps. Nick Dunn, Mickey Gasper, and Marty Costas due up. 2-2 the score. All knotted at 2 here in game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. And the first pitch to Nick Dunn. Misses downstairs for ball number 1. Dunn grounded out to first base in his first at-bat. And the 1-0 pitch from Murray. Fastball in the outside corner, evens count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Murray working quickly through the windup. And a 1-1 breaking ball misses downstairs. Count out 2-1 on the Maryland Terrapin.
We haven't seen a ton of that breaking ball from Joey Murray, but it's showing a lot of good movement.
2-1 pitch on its way. Goes back to the fastball. And this one misses high and outside. Now 3-1 on Nick Dunn. Three-one pitch. This one hit on the ground down the first baseline, but foul. Count now full, so another full count by a Whitecaps hitter on Joey Murray. Murray looking into the catcher Hale through the windup and the payoff pitch. Fastball lifted in the air down the left field line, but slicing out of play, and the count stays full. Mickey Gasper waiting on deck for the Whitecaps. As a payoff pitch from Murray, driven out to right center field. Going back is Nico Decolati, turning, looking, and that ball is gone. Tied no more. Nick Dunn puts the Whitecaps on top 3-2 with a solo home run to right center field, and the Whitecaps take a 3-2 lead. Dunn only had 1 home run in the regular season. It came at Red Wilson Field at dead center, and he gives the Whitecaps faithful a show here in game number 2 and gives them a big boost here in the 3rd inning.
Well, I tell you what, the home run was not a big part of Brewster's offense in the regular season, but here in this series, it's been the entire offense. Every run that the Whitecaps have scored against the Orleans Firebirds in this series has been off a long ball, and another terrific blast there from Nick Dunn.
And now another man certainly capable of going deep. Mickey Gasper digs in on the left side. Looks at a first pitch fastball from Murray that misses down and in for ball 1. Murray working quickly in the 1-0 pitch. Fastball in at the knees, evens count 1 ball and 1 strike. So after quickly falling behind 2-0, Whitecaps really battling back here in the 2nd and 3rd, taking the lead 3-2 over the Firebirds. As a 1-1 pitch from Murray. Big breaking ball there, misses high and outside, now 2-1 on Gasper. Two-one pitch on its way. Swing and a miss, blew a fastball right past Gasper, down in the zone there, now 2-2. Gasper struck out looking in his first at-bat. Watched a fastball go by in the outside corner, but wasn't a big fan of the call, thought he had ball 4. As he looks at a fastball there on the outside corner that misses outside. The count now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the pitch from Murray just misses downstairs. Another close call, but this one goes in the favor of Gasper. And he heads on down to first base with a walk for the Whitecaps. And now Marty Costas steps in with a runner on first.
Looks like the Whitecaps offense is starting to click here. 4 of the past 5 hitters have now reached base for Brewster. And now Jamie Shevchik's lineup plan is going into work here. Gasper is on the base paths and Costas is up.
Breaking ball from Murray. First pitch to Costas, in for a strike. Gasper leading off first. Not a big lead as Murray comes set. And the 0-1 pitch. Goes back to the breaking ball. This one on the outside corner. Marty Costas thought it was too far outside, but John leads. Calls it a strike now, 0-2 on Marty. Hunter Bishop waiting on deck for the Whitecaps as Murray comes set and misses outside with a fastball. Count moves to 1-2 on Costas. 1-2 pitch on its way. Breaking ball from Murray misses high above the letters. Now 2-2 on Marty. Marty 1 for 1 on the day. Singled in his first at-bat. Just roped one right back up the middle into center field. Jimmy Herron shading him a bit towards right center here as he looks at a breaking ball that misses high and tight, and he works a full count. So another full count for a Whitecaps hitter here against Joey Murray. Murray set and the pitch. Fastball hit on the ground, chopped towards third, fielded by Groshans, thrown to second. A little wild, but they do get the force at second. Marty able to reach on the fielder's choice. So 5-4 the put out to get Gasper at second, and there's one away here for Hunter Bishop and Costas on first.
That was a great job there by the second baseman, Ethan Paul, to rein in that throw from Groshans. As you said, it was a little bit wild, had to just stick out the glove hand, able to turn that from becoming a disaster.
Now digging in for the Whitecaps is Hunter Bishop out of Arizona State, man who was responsible for their only run last night at Eldridge Park. As they throw it to first base to check on Marty Costas. And we've talked about how much attention Marty Costas has gotten on the base paths from opposing pitchers as he threw over there to check on him again. Seems like he's always the guy they're most concerned about is Hunter Bishop, first pitch swinging. It's a big league fly ball into center field. Moving in is Jimmy Herron, and he puts it away in shallow center field for out number 2. Bishop just got underneath that one and hit that a mile high. So now there's 2 away for Kyle Datras.
Yeah, it's funny with Costas. I mean, he's second on the team in stolen bases, but I'm sure he's first on the team by a mile in pickoff throws. And part of that is because he takes an aggressive lead out there. He knows just how far he needs to go or how far he can go and still be able to dive back. Very good at reacting and diving back to the bag. We've seen him get his jersey dirty a lot of times this season doing just that for Brewster.
First pitch to Kyle Datras. Breaking ball from Murray on the inner half of the plate for strike 1. Murray looking into Hale as Costas leads off of first. And they pitch out. But Costas not going anywhere, so count now 1-1 on Datras. So that's the second pitch out with Marty on base. They've thrown over a couple of times to check on him. Really, I think maybe a lot of it is just how aggressive of a lead he's always taking, whether or not he's going or not. There's the 1-1 pitch, cut on and missed. Blew a fastball right past Datras on the outside part of the plate. And count out 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Whitecaps on top, 3-2 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the pitch from Joey Murray. Fastball on the outside corner, Datras down looking. Another call that the Whitecaps hitters aren't happy about from John Leeds. As Datras goes down looking for out number 3, but the Whitecaps take the lead on a Nick Dunn home run to right center field. After 3 innings, it's Brewster 3, Orleans 2 here in game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochem, and software development online at curry.edu. First pitch swinging off the bat of Brandon Riley. It's grounded softly toward the right side. Julian Infante scoops it up and goes to the first base bag himself. And so that is the second straight 3 unassisted for a Firebirds hitter, to start off the top of inning number 4. We are in game number 2 of the East Division Championship Series. The home team, the Whitecaps, on top by a score of 3-2. 2 home runs, the Whitecaps offense today. A 2-run shot by Julian Infante in the second and a solo homer from Nick Dunn in the third. Here's Lars Nootbaar, and the lefty bunts it toward the third base line. Beautiful bunt, barehanded by the third baseman Datras. He throws to first. It's not in time. It was an excellent throw from Kyle Datras, but it was a better bunt from Nootbaar, and the bunt single puts a runner on for Orleans with one man out.
And Nootbaar typically known for being a left-handed, just a line drive hitter, not a guy with a ton of speed, but notice Datras playing back at third base and shaded a bit towards second base, almost as if the Whitecaps were putting a bit of a shift on Nootbaar, and that's just good heads-up recognition from Lars Nootbaar to drop that bunt down the third baseline.
So here's the righty catcher, Austin Hale. The first pitch to him just whacked off his bat on a check swing and went foul. Don't even know how much he was moving the barrel of the bat there was Austin Hale. Fortune not with him on that pitch, and the count is 0-1 on the catcher out of Stetson University. Hale, one of a trio of Stetson players on this Firebirds team. The other two are pitchers, and a lot of times he'll be their battery mate. Here comes the 0-1. It misses up high on a fastball from Joe Demers to make the count 1-1 Joe Demers worked a 1-2-3 third inning when he was called upon after a 2-inning start from Bradley Spooner. That bunt single, the first base runner he has surrendered so far in his outing. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to the righty, Austin Hale. Just a bit outside to the righty. Another heater there from Demers, so the count 2-1 on Hale. Hale drew a walk. His first time up was left stranded at third when Orleans left the bases loaded in the top of the second. Demers shakes off one sign from the catcher Gasper, now gets the one he wants. He comes set, checking the runner at first base. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a high chopper through the middle, moving to his left and scooping it up is Graffinino, the shortstop. He steps on second for one and throws to first for the inning-ending double play. A terrific play from A.J. Graffinino to scoop up that baseball as he was navigating the base bag out there through the middle of the diamond, and the Whitecaps get out of the fourth inning. No runs, one hit, and thanks to the double play, nobody left for Orleans in the top of the fourth. At the end of 3.5 innings of play, it's 3-2 Brewster. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. The Beach House Grill at Chatham Bar's Inn Resort and Spa is the perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening clam bake. A proud member of leading hotels of the world. We're back in Brewster starting the bottom of the fourth inning. Joey Murray still on the mound for the Firebirds, but JT Hinson is warming up in the pen for Kelly Nicholson's side. It's going to be Chandler Taylor to lead things off for Brewster, and the first pitch to the lefty out of Alabama misses outside. The Whitecaps lead 3-2 in this ball game. Here in the bottom of the fourth, it's Taylor, Hill, and Infante due up for the Whitecaps. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air to right field. Decolati, the right fielder, takes one look at that one and watches it fly. It's a solo home run for Chandler Taylor, no doubt about it, and he caps it off with a bat flip. And the Whitecaps double their lead. It's now 4-2 Brewster.
Well, we've talked about Chandler Taylor's bat flips all year long. he's been a guy who's been struggling a bit in this playoff so far against YD and early on in last night's game against Orleans. For him to get that ball out of this ballpark, I think that's a big boost for him, just, you know, confidence-wise, because he hit that one far and you could see it. He wanted that one, and he flipped that bat about 20 feet in the air, frankly. Great job there by Chandler, recognizing the pitch down and in, just going with it. And he's so strong that if he doesn't even have to get it 100% to get it out of Stony Brook Field today. But he got all of that one and drove it out over the fence and right.
The third Whitecap homer of the season, or of the game, excuse me. And for Chandler Taylor, his first extra base hit of the playoffs. The pitching coach, Jamie Quinn, for Orleans, is having a talk with his starter, Joey Murray, right now. The catcher, Austin Hale, is there as well. As I mentioned, J.T. Hinson, the right-hander, is warming up in the pen for the Firebirds. And now home plate umpire John Leeds will tell the three men on the mound to scatter. Chandler Taylor's home run makes it 4-2 Brewster. Every run the Whitecaps have scored in this game has come via the long ball. A two-run shot by Infante in the second, a solo homer from Dunn in the third, and then this shot from Taylor makes it 4-2 Brewster. Here is Darius Hill. The pitch to the lefty out of West Virginia misses low to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Darius Hill, the only Whitecap to score a run on something other than his own home run. Scored on the two-run shot from Infante. 1-0 pitch. Just misses low to make the count 2 balls and no strikes on Darius Hill. Hill got on a stand-up double out to right center field. His first time. 2-0 pitch. Foul back behind the plate. Hill took a big swing at that one and came back cracking a smile, just missed it. Got underneath it and fouled it away. So it's 2-1. Now the count on Darius Hill. 4-2 Whitecaps here in the bottom of the fourth. Been an eventful game so far. Here comes the 2-1. It's hit foul toward the left side. It will tail out of play. So it's 2-2 now on Darius Hill. The 2 Orleans runs, one of those came on a home run. Ethan Paul went opposite field for a solo shot in the first. And then a ribby single from Jeff Hopeby gave the Firebirds a 2-0 lead. Since then, it's been 4 unanswered for Brewster in this ball game. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground, a high chopper right side. The first baseman moves over. Newtbar will flip over to the covering, Joey Murray, and it's in time for out number 1 of the frame. So nice job there. That was right in the hole between first and second in a slow ground ball. A good job by Murray to get where he needed to be. And the 3-1 putout brings Infante up.
And I know he grounded out there, but we've talked so much about the home run, but I think people are going to forget it's Darius Hill's 2-out double that got all this run scoring started. That led to Infante, who's digging in now, 2-run home run to tie the game back in the second.
The righty Infante bunts it down the third base line, and Infante's going to get in with a bunt single. No play from the third baseman Groshans, who didn't see it coming. So another bunt single. We saw one from Lars Newtbar of Orleans in the top half of this fourth inning, and now Infante gets one for Brewster. The Whitecaps have a man on and 1 out.
And it's the same type of play, too. Both of them recognized the opposing third baseman was playing back. Neither one of them has great speed. Infante just dropped it down. That shows the veteran presence, the leadership, the experience and heads-up baseball that Infante brings to this team, recognizing that, hey, I'm not obviously homered in his first at-bat. But
pitch to the lefty, Graffinino is hit high in the air, foul, out of play toward the left side to make the count 0-1 on the Washington Husky.
Infante's not a guy who has to sell out for power to make things happen, and they're recognizing that Groshans is playing back, just drops a simple bunt down the third base line and has a bunt single.
So with Infante on first, in fact, they'll throw over to first. Infante gets back without a slide, and 1 man out. Graffinino will dig in. The score, Brewster 4, Orleans 2. The Whitecaps have come back to take the lead here in Game 2. They trail in the series 1-0. 0-1 pitch is hit. A looper towards shallow right field. Moving back as second baseman Paul. It'll dunk in there for a base hit. So Graffinino gets on. He registers a hit. And now 7 out of the 9 starters for Brewster have already reached base in this ball game. It's first and second and 1 man out. And the top of the order coming up in Nick Dunn.
Yeah, think about this. They already have as many runs today as they did hits yesterday, with 7 hits already in this ball game, coming up and down the lineup, getting it done with the long ball, obviously with Infante, Dunn, and Taylor all going deep. But they're stringing together hits here in the fourth, and that's what's important. That all season long, and that and walks has been what's led to offensive success for this team.
And out comes Kelly Nicholson, and he has signaled for a pitching change, so it looks like Hinson will be called upon to relieve Joey Murray here with one man out in the bottom of the fourth, and Brewster leading the Firebirds by a score of 4-2. We'll come on back with the rest of this fourth inning right after this. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Brewster, where the home team leads 4-2 as we start off this bottom of the fourth inning, restarting the fourth inning. One run already in for Brewster on the solo homer from Chandler Taylor, and a new hurler, J.T. Hinson, will come in for the Orleans Firebirds with first and second, one man out, and the lefty Nick Dunn digging in against the righty J.T. Hinson. Hinson holds the set, checks the runner Infante at second, and the pitch misses inside to Nick Dunn. And it makes the count 1 ball and no strikes on Dunn. Hinson does have one appearance earlier in these playoffs for Kelly Nicholson. 1-0 pitch is hit hard on the ground toward the shortstop hole. A nice fielded over there by Hopi, the shortstop on the backhand. He throws to get the force at second, and that's all they get. Terrific play there from Jeff Hopi. I thought that had a date for left field, but he backhanded it and went over to the second baseman, Paul, who gives him some kudos, gesturing with the glove, and that's the second out, so it's now first and third for Brewster. Another great defensive play from Hopi.
Yeah, for sure, ranging into the hole there and having the presence of mind. He's probably not going to get done at first base, so he goes to second to get Graffinino, a much shorter throw, a much easier throw for him, and able to get the force out there. And now with 2 outs, Mickey Gasper has to get a hit here in order to drive home a run, or obviously an error or something like that.
So here is Hinson facing Mickey Gasper. Hinson has thrown an inning and 2/3 in these playoffs, 1 hit, no runs allowed, has struck out a pair. Gasper hitting from the left side against the right-hander Hinson. The pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside to make the count 1 ball and no strikes on Gasper. So far for Mickey today, has yet to get a hit. He struck out in the first and walked in the third. That's his day. First and third and 2 men out for Brewster. Whitecaps ahead 4-2, bottom of the fourth. The pitch is a fastball grooved in there for strike number 1. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Mickey Gasper. Hinson in the regular season had an ERA of 1.96, one of the many relievers that Kelly Nicholson has in his stable with sub-3 ERAs. Here comes the 1-1. It's fouled away toward the left side. So it's 1-2 now with Gasper behind in the count. And for a lot of other hitters, this would be an uncomfortable situation, but for Mickey Gasper, he has worked from behind in the count so often this season, especially in important moments like this. Very good at forcing a pitcher to throw him something, waiting for him to make a mistake, even when he is behind in the count like he is right now with the count 1-2 on Gasper. Hinson holds the set, first and third, 2 out. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball that just misses off the plate outside. So the count is 2-2 now on Gasper. An excellent take there for the catcher from Bryant University. Merrimack, New Hampshire native. Hinson comes set once again. Here comes the 2-2. Fastball that misses up high above the letters, so the count is full, 3-2. That will send the runner Dunn from first base with 2 men out and the count full. And Gasper digging back in. Another full count, another terrific at-bat. We've seen some lengthy at-bats from both teams in this ball game. Here comes the 3-2. It's hit high in the air, and it will tail foul left side and out of play. So we'll do it again with the count full on Gasper. Hinson in the regular season had that 196 ERA, made 16 appearances for Kelly Nicholson, 23 innings pitched, 15 hits allowed, 23 Ks in those 23 innings against just 3 walks. 3-2 pitch, fouled away again on the left side. Gasper just spoiling that fastball, but looked to be up, either up in the zone or perhaps a touch above the letters, but Gasper just hacking at it, fouling it away. So it's again 3 balls and 2 strikes on Mickey Gasper. Hinson comes set, first and third, 2 men out for Brewster. And here comes the payoff pitch. It misses up and away for ball 4. A terrific at-bat from Mickey Gasper, his second walk in as many plate appearances. And here comes Marty Costas with the bases full and 2 men out.
Another great at-bat from Mickey Gasper, and that's been the theme here in the last 3 innings for these Brewster Whitecaps, is making Murray, and in this case now Hinson, work. They've really seen a lot of pitches, really battling up at the plate. Mickey Gasper certainly no exception to that all year long. And that's led to better pitches to see, which has translated to balls over the fence for the Whitecaps.
So here is the righty Marty Costas, who has reached base both times tonight on a single and a fielder's choice. And Hinson will have to wait a little longer as Costas calls for time. 4-2 Whitecaps, bottom of the 4th. Bases loaded, 2 men out. Here comes the first pitch to the righty out of Maryland. It's a breaking ball that misses up. Didn't have quite as much bite as Hinson would have liked there. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes on Costas, who singled in the first inning and had that fielder's choice in the 3rd for Brewster. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It misses up high on a fastball. That was right up at eye level to Marty Costas. Count 2-0, so 2 pitches up above the zone. We'll see if maybe JT Hinson decides to go with something low and away here to the righty Costas to try and change that eye level up. I know that's something you like to talk about, Aiden. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Just decided to blow a fastball by him, and it worked, and the count is 2-1 on Marty Costas, who really took a rip at that one ahead in the count 2-0. It's a situation in me at bat where you can afford to take a little risk to try and clear the bases. So 2-1 is the count. Hinson comes set, and here comes the pitch. It's fouled back behind the plate. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out now with Marty Costas at the plate. Bases full of Whitecaps here in the bottom of the 4th. 1 run already in on the Chandler Taylor solo shot to lead off the inning for Brewster, and they're knocking on the door to get some key insurance runs here against this potent New Orleans offensive attack. 2-2 pitch. Is it high in the air toward foul ground on the right side? The first baseman, Newbar, is underneath it, and he makes the catch a couple of steps away from the out-of-play line to retire the side. So Costas couldn't quite spoil that pitch. Newbar was there to grab it, and that finishes things in the 4th inning. But the Whitecaps do get a run. They get the run on 2 hits, and they leave the bases full at the end of 4 innings of play here in Brewster. The Whitecaps lead 4-2. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle. Back here at Stony Brook Field, where the Whitecaps lead by a score of 4-2 as we begin the 5th inning of play. Due up for Orleans, it's the 9-1-2 hitters for Kelly Nicholson's club. And here comes the first pitch to the shortstop, Jeff Hopi, and the lefty takes a strike out of the hand of Joe Demers, who remains on the hill for the Whitecaps here. Demers has faced the minimum 6 in the 2 innings that he has pitched for Brewster. Here comes the 0-1. It's fouled straight back to the screen, so the count's 0-2 on Hopi. Did give up a bunt single to Newbar in the top of the 4th, but got a double play. Nicely turned from Graffinino to keep that minimum intact. Hopi, Heron, and Paul are the 3 due up for the Firebirds. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Joe Demers gets strikeout number 2 on his outing, the first one of this 5th inning, on a pitch that was below the zone. Excellent pitch there from Demers to get out number 1.
And especially after Hopi's first at-bat, in which he saw 13 pitches there, strikes him a 1-2-3. And in case you're wondering at home, Demers has gone 3 innings before, and ironically it came against these Orleans Firebirds at their place on July 15th.
So here is Jimmy Heron, the pitch to the right. He misses down and away to make the count 1-0. Heron so far today has a hard fly ball to center field and then reached on an error in the 2nd inning. Here comes the pitch. It's in there for a called strike at the knees to Heron. Makes the count 1-1. Heron, of course, coming off such a terrific day in Game 1. Went 3 for 3. Also reached via a walk. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 2. The count is 1-2 on Joe Demers. Looks like there is some action in the Whitecaps pen. Ryan Sear, the closer in the deciding Game 3 against the Red Sox, is warming up. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. In there for a called strike 3. Dropped a breaking ball in there at the knees, and Heron is down looking. So a terrific ending so far for Joe Demers. 2 Ks on 7 pitches combined, and that is out number 2.
There are not many guys who have made Jimmy Heron look foolish up the plate in the Cape League this season, but there, Joe Demers strikes him out looking on a very sharp breaking ball in the inner half. Demers has looked fantastic since entering this game.
So here is Ethan Paul. The pitch to the lefty misses inside, and so the count is 1-0. This is so similar to what we saw last night. Bradley Spooner started today. Jonathan Stever took the ball for Jamie Shevchik to start off Game 1 yesterday evening, and went 2 innings, wound up being relieved for the new guy in town, Shane McDonald, who was terrific as soon as he took the mound. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air, but foul to right field. That one had home run distance, it looked like, but well foul over the visitors' bullpen beyond the out-of-play line down the right field line. So the count is 1-1 on Ethan Paul. Paul has a home run of his own in this ball game out to right field. Here comes the 1-1. In there for a called strike. Terrific slider there from Joe Demers. That started off up and away and wound up over the plate at the knees. So the count is 1-2 on Ethan Paul. Demers a strike away from striking out the side here in this 5th inning. Whitecaps ahead 4-2. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Check swing on a pitch that was up. They appeal over to third base, and he didn't go around, says Mark Ottavianelli. The third base ump, Demers, had taken a couple of steps toward the dugout. He thought he had finished the job, but he'll have to head back to the hill to try and put Ethan Paul away. Count is even 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ethan Paul. Paul so far after that home run was struck out looking. He was the last batter that Bradley Spooner faced. Here's the 2-2. It misses low, so the count is full on Ethan Paul. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 men out here in the top of the 5th inning. Whitecaps looking to even this series up at a game apiece, with Orleans taking Game 1 of this 3-game series 4-1 at Eldridge Park last night. Demers gets the sign he likes from Gasper. Here's the payoff pitch. It skips in front of the dirt low for ball 4. So advancing on the walk is Ethan Paul. Nice at bat for Paul, who has some speed once he gets to the base paths. And now it'll be Decolati's turn.
Yeah, he does have some speed. He was second on this Firebirds team in stolen bases this year with 7, trailing only Jimmy Heron, who had 13. And now it brings the tying run to the plate. Demers isn't a guy who walks a lot of batters. He throws a lot of strikes, really pounds the zone. Against a good hitter like Paul, was able to be disciplined and lay off that pitch downstairs.
So here comes the righty, Nico Decolati, against the righty Demers. The pitch is cut on and missed. Fastball too fast for him to make the count 0-1. You mentioned the walks for Demers. He only gave up 4 of them in 20 innings pitched in the regular season, did the Washington Husky. So the count 0-1 now on Decolati, who so far is 0 for 2 with the strikeout. The first strikeout victim for Demers. Here comes the 0-1. It's lifted in the air to right field. Chandler Taylor takes a couple of steps to his left, but he's underneath it, and he makes the catch to retire of his side. So no runs, no hits, and 1 runner left on for Orleans. Paul gets on by the walk and is stranded, and Demers works 3 clean innings on the mound. At the end of 4.5 innings of play, we're halfway through a regulation game here in Brewster. The Whitecaps lead the Firebirds 4-2. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations in Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts. The home team still has the lead 4-2 as we start the bottom of inning number 5. Hunter Bishop leads off, and the pitch from JT Hinson misses just a bit high to make the count 1-0 on Bishop. Bishop is 0 for 2 today, coming off one of the better days he's had all season, regular season or playoffs last night, including a solo home run. 1-0 pitch misses outside, so the count is 2-0 on Bishop. Bishop in full last night had a homer, a single, and a stolen base, and then a walk. Great all-around day for him, and he's had a great day defensively in center field today. Here comes the 2-0 pitch, fouled straight back to the screen on a fastball that was over the heart of the plate. Makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike now on Bishop, who so far today has a ground ball to third, and he flew out to center field. One center fielder flying out to the other in that instance. Count 2-1. Hinson pitching out of the stretch despite the empty base paths. Here's the 2-1. It's fouled back to the screen once again. That was a breaking ball that hung up just a little bit. Bishop a tad frustrated. 2 hittable pitches there that he managed to foul back, but nothing more. In the past 2 offerings from JT Hinson. So the count 2-2 on Bishop. And here comes the 2-2 to the lefty. Breaking ball hit high in the air, a mile high to right field. Decolati heading back toward the track. He's under it, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Bishop just got under that one a little bit, put a drive into it. We all know how strong Hunter Bishop is, but just a bit under that baseball, and it's allowed out number 1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the only ball here today that won't carry out of here. I mean, he just got underneath it. Off the bat, I thought with the wind blowing like it has today, with the balls flying out of Stony Brook Field like they have, I thought that ball was gone. But Decolati backed up all the way to the warning track, and Hunter Bishop just missed his 2nd home run in as many days.
The pitch to Kyle Datris misses outside to make the count 1-0. Wind is blowing out at Stony Brook Field, and we've seen 4 homers, 1 from Orleans and 3 from Brewster Whitecaps, accounting for all but 1 of the runs we've seen in this ball game. 1-0 pitch, cut on and missed. Another fastball there from JT Hinson. He's done a good job mixing up those looping, breaking pitches in the fastball. Whitecaps ahead 4-2 here in the bottom of inning number 5. Trying to even the series at a game apiece. Here comes the 1-1. It's hit high in the air to right field, tailing toward the foul line. Decolati on the run. He makes the catch for out number 2. A nice play from Decolati. Got a good jump on that baseball and was able to grab it in front of his face there at eye level, running toward the foul line. So that's the second out of the bottom of the 5th. Decolati has been tested both times on a couple of different looking baseballs. And so here comes Chandler Taylor. Taylor, his last time up, hit a no doubt about it solo home run to right field and punctuated it with a bat flip. Something that you could tell he needed. Here comes the first pitch to a lefty. It is grooved in there for strike number 1 on an off-speed offering there from Hinson to make the count 0-1. He has struggled a bit at the plate just finding his pitch to drive this postseason until that at-bat. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. That one just fell off the table on the breaking ball. Look from Chandler Taylor's perspective, and we have a great view right behind home plate. That was just sitting up belt high, and some terrific late movement there from Hinson to fool Chandler Taylor. So behind him to count 0-2 is the slugger from Alabama, and he takes a second to collect himself and now digs in. Hinson is ready. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Hit on the ground toward the right side. One hopper nicely fielded by the second baseman, Paul. He throws to first base for out number 3. That was a terrific play from Paul. It was a difficult hop. Just kicked right up off the dirt here at Stony Brook Field, and he grabbed it with the glove side and retired Chandler Taylor for 3. So it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th inning for the Brewster Whitecaps. It looks like there's going to be a new arm for the Whitecaps. I think it's Ryan Sear who's coming out for Brewster. We'll tell you a little bit more about the pitching situation for the Whitecaps after this. We're through 5, and Brewster leads 4-2 on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Aiden Doyle. Back here at Stony Brook Field, where the Whitecaps lead 4-2. We're starting the 6th inning of play, and it is indeed Sear, Ryan Sear, the righty who spent the past couple of springs at Mississippi State, but will be a Kansas Jayhawk for this coming academic year, who will come on to relieve Joe Demers. For Demers, it was 3 excellent and badly needed innings of relief for the Brewster Whitecaps. 3 innings, 1 hit allowed. Only 1 base runner was left stranded for him. He struck out 3 and just walked 1. No runs allowed for him. So now Sear is up. He will face Steven Scott, Jax Groshans, and Brandon Riley here in the top of inning number 6. Sear, the man from Mississippi State, the one previous playoff appearance that he had, he was the last pitcher in that thriller against YD in that deciding Game 3. Here comes the pitch to Steven Scott, and the lefty hits one high in the air to center field. Heading back is Hunter Bishop, still heading back. The wind is carrying this one, but Bishop will make the grab. A couple of steps from the warning track out there in center field for out number 1. That's the kind of ball that makes you hold your breath the way the wind is blowing, but Bishop able to track it down.
And Bishop was able to adjust there, kind of took a step in immediately, which off the bat, it looked like Scott got jammed a little bit, but he's so strong, and with the wind blowing like it is, Bishop thought, okay, that's a looping fly ball. I'll get this. Oh, wait, no, this wind's taking it. Let me go back, and ended up making the play on the warning track.
So here's the righty, Jax Groshans, and the pitch is hit high in the air but foul away toward the right side. And it makes the count 0-1 on Groshans. These two, of course, will be teammates in Lawrence, Kansas this coming spring. Groshans a Jayhawk. So far for the Jayhawk in the batter's box, he's 0 for 2. Last time up hit a ground ball, the first off at Amirs. 0-1 pitch. Misses low just below the knees to make the count 1-1. The Whitecaps ahead 4-2 in this ball game in the top of the 6th. Every Whitecaps run in this game has come off of a homer. Infante, Dunn, and Taylor have all gone yard for Brewster. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Just misses low and outside. So it's 2-1 now on Groshans. Sear was the winning pitcher in that victory against YD. Through 2 innings of shutout ball, gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, and 1 K. When the Whitecaps got that 8-7 win in 10 innings to move on to this very round here in the East Division Championship Series. Here's the 2-1. In there for a called strike on the outer edge to the righty. Pretty similar pitch there from Sear, and the count is even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Groshans kicks some clay out of his cleats and is ready to go once again. Sear takes a deep breath and delivers the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit high in the air towards shallow right field. Coming in, shading his eyes from the sun, is Chandler Taylor, and he does make the catch for out number 1. Right field is the sun field here in Brewster, and we've seen Chandler Taylor have some difficulty out there at times, but was able to track that baseball down. So that's the second out, both coming in the air for the Firebirds in this 6th inning.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme today for both sides, hitting the ball in the air. That's 3 consecutive outs that the Whitecaps have recorded against the Firebirds that have come in the air. 2 to right, 1 to center. Hunter Bishop got his work in early, and now it seems like the ball's shifting over to Chandler Taylor and right.
So here comes Brandon Riley, taking in from the left side against the righty Ryan Sear. Here comes the pitch. Hit hard to left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Nice piece of opposite field hitting from Brandon Riley, and Costas misplays it out in left field, and Riley will take an extra base. He gets into second base. I think that'll be scored as a single and an error on the left fielder Costas, as he just couldn't quite come up with that one. It was a 2 or 3 hopper out there to him in left field, and it's a runner in scoring position for Orleans. That's an important mistake there from Costas out in left with Newtbar coming up.
That it is. Costas just misplayed that a little, and it allows Riley, who's got good speed on the base paths, to take second, and it is ruled an error on Costas, so a single and an E7.
2 errors for the Whitecaps in this game. They had 3 last night. Here comes the pitch to the lefty Newtbar. It misses down and in. Nicely blocked there by Mickey Gasper. Count 1-0. Important hitter in this ball game. Brewster is ahead 4-2. With this Orleans offense, a 2-run lead doesn't seem like quite as much as it would be against some of the other teams here on the Cape. Such a terrific all-around team is Kelly Nicholson's club. 1-0 is the count. Sear comes set, takes a look at the runner on second base, Riley. Checks him one more time, and here comes the 1-0. Again, it misses down and in, though. Gasper was able to glove that one before it hit the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes on Lars Newtbar, who has yet to be retired tonight. Walked and scored in the 2nd, and then bunted for a hit in the 4th inning. Sear comes set once again. Checks the runner. Here comes the 2-0. Down and in once more to make the count 3-0. So 3 pitches down and in to the lefty hitter from Ryan Sear. And all of them miss. It's 3-0. Just couldn't quite get Newtbar to bite. So Sear will hold the set once again. Needs a strike here with Austin Hale on deck for Orleans. 3-0 pitch. In there for a called strike on the inside corner to make the count 3-1. A couple of groans from the Firebirds side of the stands here in Brewster. Crowd is filled out quite nicely. Didn't have a ton of fans at the start of the game. 4 o'clock on a weekday. A lot of folks at work. But now that we've moved past the 5 o'clock hour, we've seen a lot more fans file in, including on the hill beyond the center field wall and on the bleachers here. A crowd warranting the playoff game. 3-1 is the count. Pitch to the lefty. It's hit hard on the ground through the middle. Graffinino moves to his left and he boots it, and it goes into center field. Waving home, the runner is the third base coach heading in to score, and it will be a run-scoring error as Riley comes in to score on the play. Newtbar stands at first base, and it's now 4-3 Whitecaps. A couple of Brewster errors proving costly in this 6th inning.
And we saw them make 3 errors, like you mentioned, Carter, at Eldridge Park last night, and 3 more here in Brewster. That's something that the Whitecaps really have to sharpen up over the last few innings of this game if they want to hold on to this lead. Orleans is too good of a team, too good offensively, to make those mistakes and expect to hold them.
Graffinino had an error last night as well, personally, on a throw. The first pitch misses outside to Austin Hale to begin his at-bat. Newtbar on first base doesn't have a ton of speed compared to the other guys in Miss Orleans lineup. Just the 1 stolen base for him in the regular season. Hasn't tried to steal in the playoffs. It's now 4-3, Orleans in the top of the 5th. Haven't seen a lot of zeros on the line score in this game. 1-0 pitch misses. No, it's in there for a called strike on the outer edge. John Leeds called strike 1 to Austin Hale, who has a walk and a double play ground ball to his name in this ball game. Does the right-hander. Sear holds the set. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. A slow breaking ball going down and away to the righty. And Hale swung right over the thing. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on the catcher from Stetson. Newtbar is aboard first base with 2 men out. Sear trying to get out of this 6th inning with just the 1 unearned run allowed. Here comes the 1-2. Fouled off toward the right side. Hale doing a nice job to stay alive. That looked like it was in on the hands and just pushed it away. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Austin Hale. Orleans, a team that is just so tough to put away. I mean, this is how they won more games than anybody else in the Cape League this season, by just being a very balanced team, both in terms of their hitters up and down the lineup and their pitchers. A lot of depth in their staff. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's hit hard down the right field line, foul. Just over the glove of the leaping Julian Infante. Tried to snag it, but it went just over the webbing of his glove and tailed toward foul territory out of play. So it's still 1-2 on Austin Hale. This Firebirds team looking for the 2nd title of Kelly Nicholson's tenure as manager. They got one in 2005, the very first year that he was in charge. Have only been to 1 championship series since then. 1-2 pitch. Misses up and away, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another good at-bat here from Austin Hale. Both of these teams have done a terrific job forcing pitchers to make mistakes by just fouling pitch after pitch away. Sear holds the set. Here comes the 2-2. Breaking ball hit hard to left field. Coming in is Casas. He makes the catch to retire the side. That was a hot shot to straightaway left field, but Casas was right where he needed to be. And that finishes things in the top of the 6th inning. But the Firebirds get a run. They get it on 1 hit, 2 important errors, and 1 man left on base. At the end of 5.5 innings of play, just a 1-run ball game here at Stony Brook Field. The Whitecaps lead 4-3. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle. We are back in Brewster. An unearned run came across in the top of the 6th, so the Firebirds have cut Brewster's lead to 4-3. Bottom third of the Whitecaps order due up, and the DH Darius Hill swings and misses at the first offering from J.T. Hinson here in the bottom of the 6th. 4-3, Brewster on top. They trail in the series 1-0. Trying to provide some important insurance runs here. The pitch to Hill misses outside on a fastball from Hinson. The count is 1-1. Hill, Infante, and Graffinino are the bottom third of this Whitecaps order due up here in the bottom of the 6th. There comes the 1-1 to Hill. Misses in the dirt down and into the lefty swinging Darius Hill, who has had a good day at the plate, had a very important 2-out double in the second inning, allowed Julian Infante to follow his hit up with a 2-run homer. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Makes the count 2-2. So far, it seems like these Brewster Whitecaps, even in the second time through the order against Hinson, have had trouble picking up on his fastball. Here comes the 2-2. Breaking ball hit high in the air to shallow right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit in between the outfielders. And Darius Hill is now 2-for-3 with a little looper for a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, good job by Hill there, bouncing back from the swing and a miss on the fastball before, and then just gets one up in the zone there. And he's not a guy who's going to hit for a ton of power, but he hits a lot of line drives into the gaps. That's his game. We saw it on the double in the second inning, and there with the single in the 6th, and that's how these Whitecaps tend to have their big innings. They get things started with a leadoff runner, either a walk or a single. We've seen, obviously, the home runs today, but that's, like you mentioned, Carter, not been their offense primarily.
Pitch to the righty. Infante misses up high to make it 1-0. Hill had 6 doubles in the regular season, second on the team, or excuse me, tied for third on the team behind Nick Dunn and Mickey Gasper, despite not having as much playing time as either of those guys. Here comes the pitch to the righty, Infante. It's hit high in the air toward shallow right center field. Coming in is the center fielder, Heron. He will wave off the right fielder, Decolati, and make the catch and send Hill heading back over to first base. So Infante with a fly ball out the first time he has been retired in this ball game. He's now 2-for-3 with that 2-run homer, and that's out number 1 of the bottom of the 6th.
And another fly ball here at Stony Brook Field. It's just both pitchers at the beginning of the game don't have overpowering stuff, so both managers got to try and keep the ball on the ground. Well, nobody really has today.
So here's the lefty, A.J. Graffinino, with Hill on first base. Whitecaps ahead 4-3, bottom 6. The pitch is in there for a called strike on the outer edge. Didn't look like Hinson hit his spot there with that fastball, but a good job by Hale to still try and frame the thing. And the count is 0-1 on Graffinino. Hinson working quickly, comes set. Here comes the 0-1. It's hit high in the air to left center field. Moving to his right is Jimmy Heron. He makes the grab on the run for out number 2. Another baseball in the air. Hill was all the way over to second base, but he does get back to first base in time without a throw over to the first base bag. Second out of the bottom of the 6th.
Well, AJ hit that one well out towards left center field, but two things wrong with it. Hung up a little bit too long, and Jimmy Heron's in center field. He can run down basically anything, and that one just hung up long enough for the center fielder to run it down into the gap. AJ hit it hard, but just to the wrong guy.
Two great defensive center fielders in this game for Hunter Bishop for Brewster and Jimmy Heron for the Orleans Firebirds. Nick Dunn due up for the Whitecaps, and he will stroll into the batter's box. Took him a second there when he was getting in, but no change. He will dig into the lefty batter's box. Dunn has a home run of his own in this game, a solo shot in the third inning. At the time, it gave the Whitecaps the lead, broke a 2-2 tie in the bottom of inning number 3. It's now 4-3 Brewster. Here comes the pitch to Dunn. It's hit high in the air to right field. Moving back is the right fielder, Decolati, headed to his right. He's underneath it, and he makes the catch. So another fly ball out. 3 fly ball outs for all 3 outs in this frame after the leadoff single by Darius Hill. And the Whitecaps are finished hitting here in the bottom of the 6th. For Brewster in the 6th inning, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 runner left on. We're finished with 6 innings of play here in Brewster, and the Whitecaps lead 4-3. You are listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. It'll be 9-1-2 in the Firebirds order due up here to start things off in the top of the 7th inning. 4-3 the score. Brewster leads Orleans here in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Wedeel on the Whitecaps radio network. And the first pitch to Jeff Hotby, the number 9 hitter. Caught on and missed. Ryan Sear just blew a fastball right past him for strike number 1. Sear working quickly through the windup, and the 0-1 pitch goes back to the fastball. This time misses in the dirt, so the count levels out 1-1 to Hotby. Hotby, the left-handed hitting shortstop out of the University of San Diego, 1 for 2 on the day. Had an RBI single in the 2nd inning, and then struck out swinging in the 5th. Waits the 1-1 here from Sear. Here it comes. Got a piece of that one, but right into the mitt of Mickey Gasper, so the count now 1-2. Sear through the windup, and the 1-2 pitch. This one roped towards first base, fielded by Julian Fonte. Nope, they're going to say he caught it on the fly. That one about an inch off the ground, and so 1 away here in the top of the 6th.
Great job by Infante. Just put his glove right on the dirt, and it landed where it needed to go. Great instincts there. Didn't have to go to the bag.
Nice play by Infante, recognizing, hey, I can catch this one in the air. And now it's back to the top of the order for the Firebirds as Jimmy Herron digs in. He's 0 for 3 today, flew out to center field, reached on an error, and then struck out looking. First pitch swinging, fouls this one off back and over the backstop, out of play. 0-1 the count. Sear into his 2nd inning of work here at Stony Brook Field, and the 0-1 pitch to Herron. Off-speed pitch that doesn't bite, misses upstairs, count now 1-1. Righty-righty matchup as the wind continues to blow out towards left center field here in Brewster today. And the 1-1 pitch from Sear on its way. Breaking ball lifted in the air behind home plate. Mickey Gasper gives it a look, but it will fall out of play behind the press box, and the count now 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes on Jimmy Herron. 4-3 the score. Brewster on top of Orleans. And the pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. They peel down to the first base umpire, Billy McCollum, says Herron was able to check his swing, so the count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the 7th inning, 4-3 the score. Whitecaps lead. And the pitch from Sear. Fastball in the outside corner, Jimmy Herron down looking for the 2nd consecutive at-bat. And there's 2 away here in the top of the 7th. Great spot from Ryan Sear to paint the outside corner with the 2-seamer.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Terrific placement there. Hit the target perfectly from Mickey Gasper, who had moved all the way toward the outside part of the plate. Thought maybe they were going to try and get him to chase, but he was able to frame it well and get the call from John Leeds. Terrific pitch.
Now Ethan Paul digs in from the left side for the Firebirds. First pitch from Sear, chopped in between first and second, fielded by Julian Infante, and flips to a covering Sear, who steps on the bag for out number 3. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Sear in the top of the 7th. It's time to stretch at Stony Brook Field, and the Whitecaps still lead the Firebirds 4-3. You're listening to Playoff Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps radio network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Back here at Stony Brook Field for the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the Brewster order due up. Mickey Gasper, Marty Costas, and Hunter Bishop digging in for the Whitecaps. 4-3 the score. Whitecaps on top of the Firebirds as Brewster looks to stave off elimination here in game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series as the first pitch to Gasper misses high for ball 1. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Wedeel here on the Whitecaps radio network. JT Hinson back out on the mound for the Firebirds. And his 1-0 fastball again misses high above the letters for ball number 2 to Mickey Gasper. Mickey today 0 for 1, has reached twice though. Back-to-back walks in the 3rd and 4th innings as he looks at a fastball on the outside corner from Hinson, and the count moves to 2-1. Gasper, switch hitter, batting from the left side against the right-handed throwing Hinson. And the 2-1 pitch on its way. This one fouled off down the third base line, out of play. Count levels at 2-2. Hinson, the right-hander out of Florida Southern, was just absolutely fantastic in 16 appearances in the regular season for Orleans. A 1.96 ERA and a 2-0 record. Although his fastball misses high. Now the count runs full on Mickey Gasper, so another full count for a Brewster hitter. It's at least the 3rd one that Mickey has seen here today at Stony Brook Field as Marty Costas waits on deck. Payoff pitch from Hinson, and fastball misses off the plate. 3rd consecutive walk for Mickey Gasper. And the leadoff man is aboard for the Whitecaps in the bottom of the 7th.
That was a great take, too, because that two-seamer had a ton of run on it, moving away to the lefty hitter Gasper. A terrific pitch there from Hinson, but Gasper's eye just too good.
And now the catcher, Austin Hale, will walk out to the mound to have a chat with his right-hander as Marty Costas digs in from the right side for the Whitecaps. Looks like there is some action in the Firebirds bullpen. It's Parker Kelly, right-hander out of the University of Oregon, warming up. He appeared in 14 games for the Firebirds in the regular season. Wasn't quite as successful as Hinson, 0-1 record. And now it looks like Kelly Nicholson will walk out of the Firebirds dugout and signal for Parker Kelly. So a pitching change for the Firebirds with nobody out in the the bottom of the 7th inning. And the score is still 4-3. We'll take a short break as a new pitcher comes in. You're listening to Playoff Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps radio network. It is indeed Parker Kelly who takes over on the mound for the Orleans Firebirds with nobody out and a runner on first for the Whitecaps here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He relieves JT Hinson, who went 2 2/3, allowed 1 hit, is responsible for the runner on first. If Gasper manages to score, it would be the only run of the game allowed by Hinson. 2 walks, no strikeouts for the righty out of Florida Southern. As the first pitch to Marty Costas fouled off into the netting behind home plate. 0-1 now the count on Marty. Costas today 1 for 3, singled in his first at-bat. Did reach on a fielder's choice in the third, but then popped out to the first baseman Newt Barr to end the bottom of the 4th inning. Kelly set, and the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses down away in the dirt. Great stop there by Austin Hale to hold Mickey Gasper at first, and the count levels at 1-1. Righty-righty matchup between Kelly and Costas. This right-hander comes set, and the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball in at the upper part of the zone. 1-2 now the count on Marty. That one started up right about shin level and then broke into the upper part of the zone. Mickey Gasper with a short lead off of first. Kelly set, and the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and miss. Costas down swinging for out number 1, and now Hunter Bishop coming to bat.
Great job changing speeds there from Kelly. The fastball for him was at the high 80s, but that breaking ball was high 70s. That 10-mile-per-hour difference clearly playing with Costas there, along with the break on that pitch. A terrific at-bat, so for Parker Kelly, good start to the outing.
Austin Hale taking some time to fix his catching gear behind home plate, so time is called as Hunter Bishop gets ready to dig in from the left side. Bishop today 0 for 3 after going 2 for 2 yesterday in Orleans. Has hit a couple balls high and far, though, nearly homered in his last at-bat as he looks at a first pitch fastball down and away for ball 1. Just drove one out to right field. Thought the wind might have carried it out, but Nico Decolati was able to make the play just shy of the right field fence. Bishop just got underneath that one. He's ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes here. And he hits this one over the head of Ethan Paul and into the right center field gap. Rounding second is Mickey Gasper as it's cut off by Decolati. The throw will come into second as Gasper slides into third safely. And Hunter Bishop picks up his first hit of the day. And now it's runners at the corners with 1 out for Kyle Datris.
Great piece of hitting and a timely one for Hunter Bishop. Mickey Gasper, a guy who's got a great head on his shoulders. Great decision to go straight in to third base on the urging from Ryan Smythe, the third base coach. And now Kyle Datris has a chance to get another big hit in these playoffs.
He's already had a couple, especially coming in game number 3 of the first round against YD, including a 2-run double that put the Whitecaps initially up 3-1. And then at the time, a home run in the top of the 8th inning that gave the Whitecaps a 6-5 lead. Waits the first pitch from Kelly. Here it comes. Right on the inside corner for strike 1. Datris today 0 for 3, lined out to the shortstop, was robbed of a base hit by Jeff Hotby, who ranged and dove to his right into the shortstop third base hole, but was able to make the play, then struck out looking before flying out to right field. Pitch out here from Kelly, but Bishop isn't going anywhere, and the count levels at 1-1. It's one of many pitch outs we've seen today from this Firebird staff. I believe 3 of them. You confirming that, Carter? 1 ball and 1 strike on Kyle Datris, the Brewster third baseman. Kelly comes set. And the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball, check swing. Datris went around, says home plate umpire John Leeds. Didn't feel the need to appeal that one. And the count now 1-2. Chandler Taylor waiting on deck for the Whitecaps. 4-3 the score. Whitecaps lead the Firebirds here in game number 2 of the second round playoff series. Whitecaps trail in the series 1-0. And the 1-2 pitch, another pitch out. That's number 4. But Bishop once again not going anywhere, and the count now 2-2 on Datris.
And it's important to try and keep Bishop from moving up, but now you're moved the count from a position where the hurler Kelly is very much in control to where Datris is feeling a lot better at the plate. It's a trade-off.
Kelly set, and the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball just misses downstairs. Datris able to hold up his swing, and now the count runs full. After a couple of pitch outs, it's a full count on Kyle Datris. Kelly looking into Austin Hale behind the plate. 3-2, 1 out Runner goes, payoff pitch. This one lined to the right center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Scoring is Mickey Gasper. Rounding second and moving to third is Hunter Bishop. He'll be held there. And we talked about Kyle Datras coming up with some big hits for the Brewster Whitecaps in this playoff series. We'll tack on another one to that list. An RBI single to right center. And the Whitecaps lead 5-3.
That's his 5th ribby of the playoffs, and it's a very big one. I know during that Game 3 we were talking about against YD, getting that one insurance run late in the game was crucial to Brewster's victory in that ball game. So a big insurance run here to double the lead, and now you got a power back coming up.
That you do in Chandler Taylor, who digs in now from the left side, as Austin Hale gives the signs to his Firebirds teammates with another first and third situation with only one out. Taylor today 1 for 3, but that one hit a big one. A home run out to right field, a solo shot that put the Whitecaps on top 4-2 at the time. And coming back in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the first pitch here from Parker Kelly. Taylor shows bunt, but takes it back as Kelly misses off the plate for ball 1. Taylor, left-handed hitting right fielder out of the University of Alabama. Tied for the Cape League lead with 9 home runs this season. And awaits the 1-0 pitch. This one a breaking ball from Kelly on the outside corner. Count evens at 1-1. Kelly looking into Hale. Comes set. And the 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there by Taylor on a pitch in the dirt. And now Kelly had 1 and 2. Taylor does have some swing and miss in his game, but has been working with these Whitecaps coaches all summer long to be able to go to the opposite field a bit more. Try and use all parts of the field. 1-2 the count. Off-speed pitch from Kelly. This one misses down and away, and the count levels at 2-2. Kelly set, ready, and the 2-2 pitch. Runner goes, pitch misses outside. The throw down to second is not in time. Kyle Datras swipes second base, and so now the double plays out of order, and there are 2 runners in scoring position, and a full count on Chandler Taylor.
Yeah, very important stolen base. That was a good throw from Hale in terms of the speed that it took to get to the bag, but just a bit high there, and Datras was able to go in there and get his first stolen base of the playoffs.
Datras was 5 for 5 in the regular season as well, so now 6 for 6 overall in his time with the Brewster Whitecaps. Kelly comes set. Infield in for the Firebirds, and the pitch to Taylor misses outside, so a walk for CT, and the bases are loaded for Darius Hill.
It is danger time right now for Orleans. A good job here, I think, by Firebirds pitching coach Jamie Quinn to come out and have a conversation with Parker Kelly. The bullpen, from what we can see from our vantage point, is silent for Orleans. It's up to Kelly to try and get out of this jam. Now, of course, he's just a ground ball away from getting out of it, but we have seen very few ground balls from either team in this game so far, and Darius Hill's had a good ball game at the plate. This is a situation where right now, a 5-3 game, 6 outs left for Orleans offensively in regulation, they can get 2 runs. I mean, this is a good team offensively. They got their 3, 4, 5 hitters due up in the 8th. But if Darius Hill can find a way to break this ball game open, we could be thinking about a Game 3.
Pitching coach for the Firebirds having a chat with Parker Kelly on the mound. Austin Hale joining them. But now the home plate umpire John Leeds will break it up as everyone retreats back to their respective positions. Now Hale walks back out to the mound to get one last word in with Kelly. Darius Hill digging in from the left side. He's 2 for 3 today. Had a great day at the plate and really been a guy who I'm sure Coach Shevchik has a lot of confidence in at the plate right now, the way he's swinging the bat lately. Bases loaded for the Whitecaps. Corners in for the Firebirds. 1 out, 5-3 the score in the bottom of the 7th inning. Whitecaps lead the Firebirds. And the first pitch from Kelly. Fastball that misses down and away for ball 1. Kelly looking into Hale. Now comes set. And the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss from Hill. Chased that one downstairs, and the count moves to 1-1. Hill, left-handed hitting designated hitter out of West Virginia. Awaits the 1-1 pitch from Kelly. Here it comes. This one misses down and in, gets away from Hale. Coming in to score is Hunter Bishop, and it's a 6-3 game. All the runners move up a base. Kyle Datras to third, Chandler Taylor to second, and the Whitecaps now up 6-3, and still just 1 out and 2 runners in scoring position for Brewster.
Well, we'll see how that's scored, but either way, it's a really tough one for Orleans because of all the ramifications you mentioned, Aiden. I mean, the Whitecaps are able to extend their lead to 3 runs. The double play is taken away. The forces at every base is taken away. Now the infield has to come in for Orleans. That's a huge, either a wild pitch or a pass ball for Hale / the hurler Kelly. And now the Whitecaps really are in the driver's seat heading into the rest of this ball game.
Now the rest of the infield comes in as Kelly misses down and away with a fastball. Now 3-1 on Darius Hill. Hunter Bishop with just a great read as that one got away from Hale. And it looks like, speaking of Hale, will now signal for the intentional walk with a 3-1 count on Hill. And so Hill will take his base, and the bases are loaded again now for Julian Infante. I get setting up the double play, Carter, and I know Hill's been swinging a hot bat, but Julian Infante is 2 for 3 today, and it's gone deep once.
Yeah, and he's got a great hitter behind him, and A.J. Graffinino as well. So that's a very interesting decision by Orleans to give Hill the free pass. In any case, Infante will surely be motivated by it.
Infante, right-handed hitting first baseman out of Vanderbilt, like I mentioned, 2 for 3. Responsible for the first 2 runs of the game for the Whitecaps, as he looks at a breaking ball that misses inside for ball 1. Middle of the infield back for Orleans, corners in. As that one that allowed Bishop to score was scored a wild pitch for those of you scoring at home. It's a 1-0 pitch from Infante. Fastball misses down and in again. 2-0 the count on Julian. Righty-righty matchup as Infante knocks some dirt out of his cleats with his bat. Now digs back in. Kelly comes set. And the 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses high above the letters. 3-0. No place to put Infante as the bases are full of Whitecaps here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out.
How many times have we seen Brewster put together rallies like this? Single walk, single walk, intentional walk, and now a chance for Infante to draw a base on balls as well.
3-0 count. Fastball misses high and tight. Bases loaded walk, and it's 7-3 Whitecaps as Kyle Datras jogs home from third. It's a 3-run inning for Brewster thus far, and still bases loaded, 1 out, and Kelly Nicholson walking out to the mound for Orleans. I haven't seen a signal yet as Kelly takes a short walk, but he's clapping his hands, and he will take the ball from Kelly, so there will be a pitching change for Orleans. We'll take a short break as the new arm comes in and warms up. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Whitecaps on top 7-3 with 1 out in the 7th. It's a new pitcher for the Firebirds, and his name is Chandler Day, right-hander out of Vanderbilt University, and does not inherit an envious situation. Bases loaded, 1 out. A.J. Graffinino at the plate for the Whitecaps. 7-3 the score. Brewster leads Orleans here in game number 2 of this Eastern Division Championship Series. And the first pitch to A.J. Graffinino, a fastball right on the lower outside corner for a strike 1. Day working out of the stretch, comes set. And the 0-1 pitch. This one lifted in the air, foul down the third base side by Graffinino. Drops out of play, and the count now 0-2. Day looking into Austin Hale. Now ready. Holds the set and the 0-2 pitch. Caught on and missed. Graffinino chased one down in the dirt for strike 3. So Day picks up his first strikeout on the first batter he sees. And there's 2 away now here in the bottom of the 7th.
Really important strikeout there for Chandler Day. Just what he needed. Gets through the one hurdle, and now another very tough hitter to put away, and Nick Dunn digging in here as the Whitecaps have batted around in this 7th inning.
That they have as Nick Dunn digs in from the left side, the leadoff hitter for the Brewster Whitecaps. 1 for 4 on the day. That one hit, though, a home run to right center field. As he hits one on the ground sharply towards second. Backhanded by Paul. He'll take the easy out as he flips to Hotby at short for out number 3. So the Whitecaps leave the bases loaded, but they do score 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th, and they lead this one 7-3. Carter, we talked about the need for insurance run, or at least one insurance run. Well, they got 3 of them here. Moving to the top of the 8th inning, it's 7-3 Whitecaps here on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field in Brewster, where the Whitecaps hold a 7-3 lead over the Orleans Firebirds. As we move on to the top of the 8th inning, it will be 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Firebirds against Ryan Sear, who is into his 3rd inning of work out of the Whitecaps pen. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Wedeel here on the Whitecaps Radio Network. As Nico Decolati digs in from the right side. Righty-righty matchup in the first pitch from Sear, a breaking ball. Caught on and missed for strike number 1. Decolati today 0 for 3. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. That's sandwiched in between a pair of flyouts. The 0-1 breaking ball from Sear misses high above the letters. Count levels at 1-1. Sear working quickly through the windup. And the 1-1 pitch fouled off sharply into the netting down the first base line. Count moves to 1-2. Decolati, right fielder out of Loyola Marymount. Batted .311 in 32 games for the Firebirds this season. 1 home run, 12 RBI. with a solid .364 on-base percentage as the breaking ball from Sear misses down away in the dirt, and Decolati was able to lay off that one, so the count evens at 2-2. Shadows covering third base, pitcher's mound, and the catcher. So home plate here, but all of the outfield, short, first, and second, still in the sun as this one's hit softly towards second, fielded by Nick Dunn, throwing to first in time for out number 1. With the earlier start times in August here at Stony Brook Field, first pitch moved up from 5 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It's a little bit different as far as how the Shadows progress throughout the course of the game. As far as when the game finishes, when it starts, where they are. So at this point later in the season, we'd probably be in about the 4th inning or so right now. As the first pitch now to Steven Scott, a fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Scott, left-handed hitting designated hitter out of Vanderbilt. 0 for 3 on the day, awaits the 0-1 pitch and swings through a fastball from Sear up in the zone. And Sear quickly head 0-2. Scott, one of several powerful bats in this Firebirds lineup. Awaits the 0-2 pitch from Sear. Now it just misses off the outside corners as John leads. 1-2 now the count on Scott. Sear through the windup. And the 1-2 pitch skips home. Fastball down and in. Good stop there by Gasper, but nobody on, so it doesn't matter. Count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Scott with 3 flyouts today. 1 to left, 1 to center. Actually, 2 to center. As Sear through the windup and the 2-2 pitch. This one nubbed right back in front of home plate. Fielded there by Sear, and the throw on to first in time for out number 2.
Nice job by Sear to backhand that baseball. Knew he needed to kind of uncork that throws because Scott has some speed to him, and he did. And Fonte looked a little impressed when he grabbed the baseball over at first base. And Sear has been in a groove. We've been talking about getting ground balls. He's gotten 3 in a row.
That he has. Going away from the trend of fly balls that we've seen throughout this game. Jax Groshan's now digging in from the right side for the Firebirds. Right-handed hitting third baseman from Kansas. The first pitch from Sear, a fastball that just misses down and away. Interesting matchup here between Sear and Groshan's because they're both Kansas Jayhawks. They just don't know each other because Sear has not yet played for Kansas. As the fastball misses high for ball 2. Played at Mississippi State to start off his collegiate career, but transferring to Kansas. Will play for the Jayhawks this upcoming spring. Through the windup and the 2-0 pitch. This one lined at the right field, and that'll get down for a base hit. So a 2-out single by Jax Groshans. And I'm sure the first time they meet in person, Ryan Sear will not let, or Jax Groshans will not let Ryan Sear forget about that one.
Yeah, did get the fly out, did Groshans the first time these two met, but that time a great piece of hitting, and that's what you got to do when you're trailing by 4 runs in a ball game late. You just have to keep putting base runners on. This is an Orleans lineup that's equipped for a rally like that. Up and down the lineup, a lot of great hitters.
Another one in Brandon Riley digging in from the left side here for Orleans. First pitch from Sear, off speed, misses high and outside for ball 1. Sear checks on Groshans at first. Now comes set. And the 1-0 pitch. Fastball skips home. Nice backhanded stop there by Mickey Gasper to hold Groshans at first. And it's now 2 balls and no strikes on Brandon Riley. Mickey Gasper. Shout out me and you now. Ryan Sear just trying to get him to play catch with Gasper. 2-0 pitch on its way. This one hit on a line towards Graffinino, who snags it. Right place, right time for A.J. Graffinino Riley hit it hard, but right at the Brewster shortstop. And for the third out of the inning, the Firebirds get a 2-out single, but nothing comes of it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. They leave 1 on in the top of the 8th. After 7.5 at Stony Brook Field, it's Whitecaps 7, Firebirds 3 on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wedeel and Aiden Doyle.
2, 3, and 4 in the Whitecaps order due up here in the bottom of the 8th inning against Chandler Day. Aiden Doyle alongside Carter Wedeel on the Whitecaps Radio Network. 7-3 the score. Brewster leads Orleans. The first pitch to Mickey Gasper, a fastball that misses down in the dirt for ball 1. Gasper led off the 7th inning with a walk. That coming off of a different pitcher, though. Day was not in the ball game as the 1-0 fastball misses down and in for ball 2. And that's how they got things started. He worked that walk off of J.T. Hinson, who was then promptly removed from the game after walking Gasper to lead off the inning. And that just lead-off walks always seem to come around and bite the team that allows them as Gasper swings through pitch from Day. Count now 2-1 on the Brewster catcher. Mickey today 0 for 1, but has reached base 3 times. His last 3 plate appearances have all resulted in walks, and he's ahead in the count now 3-1 as Day misses high and outside with the fastball. 3-1 pitch on its way. This one lined into right center field. That'll get down in the gap and roll all the way to the wall. Rounding first is Mickey Gasper. He's digging for second, and he's digging for third. The throw in will be cut off by Hotby, and no throw to third. Mickey Gasper slides into third with a triple. And you know what's better than a leadoff walk, Carter? A leadoff triple.
Great piece of hitting there from Mickey Gasper. I'm sure he's happy to get a hit registered. As great as he's been at the plate, drawing those 3 walks today for Brewster. A ton of emotion for him after he slid into third base. You can tell how important this is to the Whitecaps.
That'll be Marty Costas digging in from the right side as Orleans brings the infield in. That's just a great at-bat from Mickey Gasper, getting ahead in the count, waiting for Day to make a mistake. He did and drove it into the right center field gap as Costas looks at a first pitch breaking ball in for strike 1. Marty today 1 for 4. Singled in the first inning, did reach on a fielder's choice in the third. As he awaits the 0-1 pitch from Day, here it comes. And this one's chopped over the head of Ethan Paul at second and into center field. Scoring is Mickey Gasper, and Marty Costas picks up an RBI single in the 8th. And it's now 8-3 Whitecaps.
That's got to be so tough for the Firebirds there. They had the infield in, and Ethan Paul had to just watch the baseball fly over his head. If he'd been playing straight away, he would have been able to field it. But either way, a well-deserved RBI for Marty Costas, and Brewster continues to pour it on. This has been an excellent offensive showing against the terrific pitching staff of Orleans in this ball game.
8 runs on 12 hits for Brewster here in game number 2, as Marty Costas again with an aggressive lead off of first. And the first pitch from Day, fastball that misses off the plate to Hunter Bishop. Hunter started off today 0 for 3, but had a single in his last at-bat, and would eventually come around to score on a wild pitch. Day comes set, and the 1-0 pitch. Another one that misses down and away. Bishop quickly had 2 balls, no strikes. Day looking into Hale. Now comes set. 2-0 pitch to Bishop. This one skips home and gets away from Hale. Goes all the way to the backstop, and moving to second is Marty Costas. And a runner in scoring position again for Brewster.
The wild pitch has been tough for Orleans in this ball game. Just doesn't seem like anything's going right for Kelly Nicholson's team right now, as they jumped out to about 2-0 lead, and then since then it really has been all Brewster in this game.
Bishop ahead, 3 balls, no strikes. And the pitch from Day. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Day, right-hander out of Vanderbilt University. Really projectable right-hander. Got very good stuff. 6'5". As Bishop hits one on the ground towards first, fielded by Newtbar. He'll take it himself to the bag and win the foot race there. But moving to third is Marty Costas. So the Whitecaps have another run just 90 feet away with 1 out in the 8th inning.
And I tell you what, you can't have too many insurance runs right now for Brewster. I know 7, 8, and 9 are due up for the Firebirds in the 9th inning, but 7, 8, 9 for Orleans is very different from 7, 8, 9 from any other team. Once you get to the top of the order, they're so tough to stop.
Now Kyle Datcher's digging in. We've already seen him have 1 RBI single today, that coming in his last at-bat in the 7th inning. Has a chance to do it again here with the infield in again for Orleans. First pitch from Day. Breaking ball misses downstairs. Good stop there by Austin Hale to keep it in front of him. 1-0 the count on Datcher. Day holds the set and the 3-1 pitch. Fastball misses off the plate. Now 2-0 on Datcher. So a problem for Orleans all night has been finding the zone. Brewster has really done an excellent job working counts, working walks, and capitalizing when Orleans pitchers have made a mistake. Day's able to find the zone here, though, as a 2-0 fastball in at the knees for strike 1. Day looking into Hale. Now holds the set. And the 2-1 pitch. This one hit on the ground weakly towards second. Fielded there by Paul. Looks the runner back at third. Throwing to first in time to throw out Datcher. So there the infield in works for Orleans. And there's 2 away with Chandler Taylor coming to bat.
That was a nice job by Paul. He knew exactly how much time he had to stare down Marty Costas at third base before he had to fire to first and get Datcher out. Well done by him to keep the Maryland Terrapin anchored at third.
So with 2 outs and a runner at third, Chandler Taylor digs in for Brewster. 1 for 3 on the day with a home run to right field. And the first pitch to Chandler. Fastball misses down and away. Taylor went around, though, says home plate umpire John Leeds, and the count 0-1. Day ahead in the count. No balls, 1 strike. Here's a pitch. Fastball misses downstairs. Evens the count at 1-1 to Taylor. It's a good stop there by Austin Hale. Kept the ball in front of him. Day holds the set, and the 1-1 pitch. Just out in front of that one was Taylor as he fouls it off. Just gets a piece of it. Count now 1-2 on the Crimson Tide outfielder. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning. 8-3 the score. Whitecaps on top of the Firebirds. As the pitch from Day misses down and in. Another great stop from Austin Hale to hold Marty Costas at third base. And now it's 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in Brewster. Day looking into Hale. Comes set. And the 2-2 pitch on its way. Caught on and missed. Taylor chased an off-speed pitch down in the zone for strike 3. He goes down swinging for out number 3, but the Whitecaps just need 3 more outs in the top of the 9th inning. They lead this one 8-3, trying to hold off the Firebirds and keep their season alive, and it'll be a new Whitecaps pitcher. Looks like it's Troy Miller, the right-hander out of Michigan. We'll get you set on all the changes, although that looks like right now the only one when we come back for the top of the 9th inning. Back in Brewster for the top of the 9th inning. Troy Miller, the right-hander out of the University of Michigan, takes over on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps. Brewster needs just 3 more outs. There is another defensive change, though. Justin Coons takes over behind the plate for Mickey Gasper as Miller's first pitch, a fastball in the outside corner for strike 1 to Lars Nootbaar. Nootbaar, the first baseman out of USC. 1 for 2 on the day, has reached all 3 plate appearances, though, as he drives this one out towards shallow center field. Moving in is Marty Costas, and it'll drop in front of him, and it gets away from Costas and Bishop. Nootbaar with a big turnaround first, but he'll be held there as Bishop is able to recover and get the ball in. So it's a leadoff single for the Firebirds in the top of the 9th.
That's a good decision by Nootbaar to not go, not just because of what specifically was happening out there, but you never want to take a risk in the 9th inning when you are not the tying run. Nootbaar is perfectly happy just standing on first.
And now it'll be a pinch hitter for the Orleans Firebirds. Austin Hale will not come up for Orleans. It'll be Cesar Salazar, left-handed hitting catcher out of the University of Arizona, pinch hitting for Hale here with nobody out in the top of the 9th. Brewster's up 8-3 in this one. So it'll be a little while before Orleans, even if they continue to hit, have the tying run up near the batter's box. And the first pitch from Miller to Salazar. Fastball that misses inside for ball 1. Miller, the right-hander out of Michigan, appeared in 2 games for the Whitecaps this year, went 0-1 with a 7.71 ERA in 4.2 innings pitched. As a 1-0 pitch, a fastball fouled off over to third base dugout and out of play. Count now 1-1 on Salazar. Cesar 229 in the regular season in 33 games. Did have 4 home runs and 13 runs driven in. Miller comes set, and the 1-1 pitch. Another one fouled back into the backstop. Looked like Salazar maybe chased that one down and in. The count now 1-2. Firebirds faithful still here at Stony Brook Field, cheering on Orleans, looking for a 9th inning rally. They are down 5 runs here in game number 2 of this Eastern Division Championship Series. As Miller comes set, and the 1-2 pitch, cut on and missed, blew a fastball right past Salazar. That one a little bit up and out of the zone, but Salazar down swinging for out number 1.
Great job by Miller to stay composed. In this situation, when you have a big lead like this, you just want to execute your pitches. Great job executing that high fastball there from Miller. Doesn't have to worry at all about the runner on first. Just needs to get these guys out.
And it'll be another pinch hitter for Orleans here. Steve Passatempo hitting for Jeff Hotby. Passatempo, right-handed hitter out of UMass Lowell. Another guy who had 4 home runs for Orleans this season. And the first pitch from Miller, another fastball up and out of the zone, but swung on and missed, as Passatempo chased that one for strike 1.
I know that's tempting for Passatempo, but in this situation, you're just trying to get on. A home run swing isn't quite as valuable.
Miller comes set. 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses off the plate. Count levels at 1-1. Lars Nootbaar leading off first for the Firebirds. Infante not really holding him on. As a 1-1 pitch from Miller. Another fastball caught on and missed. Miller blew it right past him for strike 2. And he's 1 strike away from picking up his 2nd consecutive strikeout. Passatempo, a true Bay Stater, originally from Medford, Mass. Played his college ball at UMass Lowell. As the fastball for Miller paints the outside corner, Passatempo down looking, and the Whitecaps are 1 strike away from taking game 2.
That's a terrific fastball to finish this up for. Finish that at bat up there from Miller, trying to even the series up.
And if the Whitecaps want to end it here, they're going to have to get through Jimmy Herron, the leadoff hitter and center fielder for Orleans. He's 0 for 4 on the day. Did reach on an error in the 2nd inning. And the first pitch from Miller, a very sharp breaking ball, but that one misses downstairs for ball 1. 1-0 the count, righty-righty matchup. And the pitch from Miller. Fastball on the outside corner, count evens 1-1. That's been where these Whitecaps pitchers have tried to live all game, on that outside corner. Home plate umpire John Leeds has been giving that pitch to the pitchers all night. 1-1 the count. Nootbaar leading off first. 2 outs. Runner goes. Breaking ball misses outside. The throw from Coons down to second. Hits off of the helmet of Nootbaar and caroms into shallow left field, although it's retrieved by Graffinino. So Nootbaar into second base safely, but not really safely.
Says something about Justin Coons behind the plate as well. Obviously, it's in there for defense. This is the first piece of action that he's seen in this game. But a lot of times in the 9th inning, a guy will take second on defensive indifference. The catcher won't bother with the throw, but Coons was trying to get him there and very nearly did.
Very nearly did indeed, although that one, a little bit of bad luck there from Coons that hit off a Nootbaar's helmet. So the Firebirds have a runner in scoring position. 2-1 the count on Herron. As Miller ready, and this one lined and snagged by Julian Infante. Game over, series tied. The Whitecaps stay alive. They beat the Firebirds 8-3 here in game number 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. And Carter, this team just won't quit.
Terrific ball game for Brewster. I mean, they needed their offense to come alive in this game after a pretty anemic day offensively, especially with Hunter Bishop being the only guy that they did. If you take him away from that offense, it was a real tough day for the Whitecaps, and today on their home field in favorable conditions, but even despite those conditions, they really woke up here today. And now for the Whitecaps, it's all about carrying this momentum. In the past series against YD, a tough loss in Game 1. They come back, have a strong offensive showing in Game 2, and they carried it into Game 3. And now they're going to have to go to a tough environment at Eldridge Park tomorrow night to try and get a place in the championship series. This has been quite the run for Brewster.
That it has, and this game actually has some similarities with yesterday's game, but just obviously a different outcome. Orleans struck first in both games, but unlike yesterday, Brewster was able to respond. And another thing, Carter, Brewster with 3 errors in this game. Unlike yesterday, they were able to hang on. It didn't make much of a difference as Brewster out-hit them 12-7, outscored them 8-3, and this series is tied at 1 apiece. Game 3 coming up at Eldridge Park tomorrow at 7 p.m. We're not sure who's going to be starting for either team, but a lot to talk about for this one, and we'll have more as this post-game show rolls on. Once again, final score, 8-3, Whitecaps win in game number 2. You are listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Don't go anywhere. The Whitecaps post-game show is coming up right after this.
That was huge for us. It's huge for the momentum going into tomorrow.
Only on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Back here at Stony Brook Field where the Whitecaps win Game 2 8-3. But after the first couple innings, it really wasn't looking that way. Orleans got out to an early 2-0 lead, and then the bullpen shut him down, and the first arm out of the bullpen was Joe Demers, right-hander out of the University of Washington, and he's with Morris Sheridan.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Joe Demers, and today was a stellar performance from you. 3 scoreless innings, came in the top of the 3rd, and just pitched a really great game for the Whitecaps. What was working for you today?
Yeah, the fastball was huge today, and I finally found my slider, so I was throwing that well. But just filling up the zone again as usual and really working off the fastball today.
You and your teammate AJ Graffinino, your teammate at Washington, have had really great playoff performances. What is it about you guys that's kind of been clutch for this team?
Well, we just love playing baseball, and nothing better than playoff baseball, so this is where we shine, and we've been doing well.
You're the only Caps pitcher that has held this Orleans Firebirds team scoreless in the playoffs. What would be a piece of advice you would give your teammates on how to kind of stifle this tough offense?
Yeah, just no free bases, really attacking the zone and going after hitters and make them earn their runs.
All right, thanks so much. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Maura. And Joe Demers came in the top of the 3rd inning, went 3 innings, just 1 hit allowed, did not allow a run, and struck out 3. Carter, he was phenomenal.
He really was, and Brewster really needed that. I know the final score looks a little bit lopsided, but this was a closer game than the score indicated, I think. And Joe Demers was a big reason why Brewster was able to come out on top. I mean, it was a tough start for Bradley Spooner, very similar, as you mentioned, Aiden, to how Jonathan Stever looked in yesterday's ball game. And for Joe Demers to come and just settle everything down, just settle down that Orleans offense and give Brewster's offense the opportunity to come in and kind of walk through the open door, so to speak. Very, very important for him. He deserves a lot of the accolades tonight.
Bullpen was just overall fantastic. After Demers, it was Ryan Sear who came in and gave Coach Jamie Shevchik 3 innings of work, just allowed 2 hits, 1 unearned run, and struck out a batter. And then Troy Miller shut the door, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. No runs. Just overall a fantastic performance. And offensively, though, up and down the lineup, this team really produced. Nick Dunn had a home run. Marty Costas had 2 hits and an RBI. Kyle Datris had an RBI single. Mickey Gasper got on with 3 walks and had a triple, scored 2 runs. Chandler Taylor had a home run. Julian Infante drove in 3 runs himself. This was just a completely different offense than what we saw yesterday at Eldridge Park.
Yeah, it sure was, and I'm sure Jamie Shevchik, more will be talking to him in a little bit, but I'm sure Shevchik would love to see it continue heading into tomorrow at Eldridge Park. Obviously, Eldridge Park is a different hitting environment. This is more kind of a symmetrical outfield here at Stony Brook Field. The wind tends to blow out, but and Eldridge Park obviously is just a short portion left and then just a huge expanse in center field, 434 to dead center. So it's a different way to approach it for the hitters. Fly balls are a little bit more acceptable there, and a lot of long balls for Brewster in this lineup. I mean, this is just the second or third time all year that Brewster has hit 3 homers in one game. And so they're just going to have to try and keep carrying it over against this very good Firebirds team, and I'm sure Kelly Nicholson is going to be fired up and get his guys ready to go.
Yeah, it'll be certainly an interesting battle. Brewster has won at Eldridge Park in the regular season. They won way back on opening night, a 6-1 victory, and Connor Higgins was the winning pitcher in that game. So that was way, way back there. A lot has changed since then. But it'll all come down to that, another do-or-die game for both teams. Orleans in the first round was taken to 3 games before beating the Chatham Anglers at Eldridge Park. Brewster, on the other hand, was taken to 3 games after losing Game 1 to YD and won at their place in Game 3. So it is sure to be an interesting battle. But we're not done with the interviews yet. This post-game show rolls on. And one of the star performers for the Whitecaps today was Julian Infante, first baseman out of Vanderbilt University. Went 2 for 3 and had 3 RBI, tied the game in the bottom of the second inning with a 2-run home run to left, and he's with Morris Sheridan.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Julian Infante, and going into that at-bat where you hit the homer, you were struggling a little bit in the playoffs. How would you approach that at-bat?
Yeah, so it's just like every other at-bat. Just trust yourself, trust your training, trust your own talent, because if you don't trust yourself, then nobody else will. So that's it.
You sort of did it all for Brewster today. You even had a bases-loaded walk. You had the final out for the Whitecaps. How did your mentality change today as opposed to the rest of the playoffs?
It's just the same thing, just staying consistent. Nothing really changed, just staying positive. Again, if you're not positive in yourself, then nobody is. And nothing really changed, no.
This team seems to play really well when their backs are against the wall. What is it about this team and their will to win?
I think it's just all this time we spend together. We have so much fun together, and we don't want to go home and not hang out with each other. So that's big. Yep.
You guys have one more chance tomorrow. You got to beat Orleans at Eldridge Park. What do you guys do to win?
Just the same thing. Stay consistent, trust each other, have fun, and it's just another ballpark, just another game, and spend more time with each other.
All right. Thanks so much. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maura. That was Julian Infante, first baseman out of Vanderbilt. 2 for 3 on the day. Like Maura mentioned, 2-run home run to left in the bottom of the second inning. Had a bases-loaded walk in the 7th. And how about that play to end the game? That was a rocket towards him at first base that he just reached out and snagged to secure the Brewster win.
Yeah, it really was a terrific catch, and it kind of sums up the way the game went for the Whitecaps. A challenging game, backs against the wall, as Morris said, up against the team with the best record in the league, and they were able to rise to it and get the W. This is a big win for Jamie Shevchik's team, and we saw such a exciting, thrilling game in the Game 3 that we saw between Brewster and YD, and we're going to have another Game 3 tomorrow.
That we will, again, coming up at 7 o'clock tomorrow at Eldridge Park. And you talked about it, Carter. It's just how do you repeat that same mentality going into a Game 3. Obviously, this is a situation that this team is familiar with, having done it in the first round against the YD Red Sox. And there are a lot of people who will say that that YD Red Sox team was just as good, if not better, than this Orleans Firebirds team. So there's got to be a lot of confidence for this Whitecaps team going into that Game 3, knowing they've done it before.
Absolutely. It's going to come down to the little things, I think, in that ball game. All these little plays, these mistakes in the field, the way they draw a walk in a big opportunity, getting 2 out hits, that's what it's going to come down to tomorrow.
Well, we have loved to use the hashtag HappyShev on Twitter, and I feel like we're going to have another opportunity here as Coach Shevchik stands by with Morris Sheridan.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Jamie Shevchik. Today was a kind of an offensive explosion. 3 home runs, Nick Dunn, Julian Infante, and Chandler Taylor. But for Chandler Taylor and Julian Infante, they were struggling in the playoffs. What was it like to see them finally get it going?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, if they're going to get it going right now, now's the right time to do it. So it was good to see Julian kind of get off the snide a little bit, and same thing with Chandler. You know, if we're gonna make a run through tomorrow and into the next round, those guys we're gonna need those guys to help us score runs.
But as I said, kind of a offensive explosion throughout. You had guys like Mickey Gasper and Kyle Datras who have been stepping up all playoffs. What have they meant in this run you guys have had?
Well, I probably said it, midway through the year. And guys like Mickey Gasper and Nick Dunn, they're going to have to get it going. That was way back then. We're only going to be as good as, in some cases, as even when Nick was struggling, we kept him in there over and over and over again because we were going to have to get him hot, because we were only going to be as good as guys like Mickey and guys like Nick Dunn, and let everybody else contribute, but let those guys lead, and that's what they've been doing. They've been leading for the most part of the year.
A solid pitching performance throughout, but Joe Demers really stands out with 3 scoreless innings. What was he doing today on the mound that was really working?
He came in at the right time and he held those guys. I mean, you look at the first 2 innings yesterday and you look at the first 2 innings today, we didn't miss a whole lot of barrels when we were throwing baseball. So for a guy like Joe to come in and give us those 3 solid innings, it shut down their momentum and allowed us to breathe a little bit and get the momentum back on our side.
Tomorrow, backs against the wall again, but you guys seem to play really well in that position. What do you need to do to get the win at Eldridge Park?
I just keep the same mentality. The pressure again is on them. They're supposed to win. They're the 1 seed. We're the 3 seed. So, the pressure's on them. We go out there. We just continue to play baseball. Do the little things right. Put guys in scoring position. The same thing we've been trying to do all year long. Who knows? We might be playing a couple more games here.
All right. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maura. And that was Whitecaps coach Jamie Shevchik. Carter, the pressure's on them, not on us. That seems to be the Whitecaps mantra throughout this postseason so far.
Yeah, not quite a guarantee there from Jamie Shevchik like we got with YD, but pretty close. And that's true. I mean, that's a great thing to tell the team that Jamie Shevchik is trying to put on the guys to just play loose out there. I mean, how many times have we talked to Jamie Shevchik after a game that Brewster's played really well, and the first thing he said is, well, we felt loose on the field. That's something that he is really has focused on from day one of the regular season, is making sure guys are relaxed and playing free. And it's a great way to remind them of that when you're talking about how all the pressure is in the opposing dugout. I mean, he's absolutely right. Orleans had the best record in the league. A lot of folks think that they, once YD was knocked out of the postseason, that this was going to be their championship to lose, and now they're going to have to lay it all on the line in a 1-game finish here.
That they will. Game 3 coming up tomorrow at Eldridge Park in Orleans. This one final 8-3, the score. Whitecaps over the Firebirds. For Morris Sheridan and Carter Woodeel, I'm Aidan Doyle. That'll just about wrap it up for us here on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful and safe Wednesday night.